Yeah. Anyway, welcome everybody for our Supergirl review. Last time I did an awesome review over Superman with a great panel, and now have a different panel review now for Supergirl.
I thought he was going to say even better panel.
Even better.
I mean, wouldn't be wrong.
Oh, well, we'll see, right?
Wait, I was on that panel last year. So.
It's like half of us are the same, half of us are different, but we're here to discuss about Supergirl and ask the ultimate question: is it super shit? Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
With it, so
yeah. All right, welcome everybody. We're here to talk about the DCU's newest movie, the second entry, Supergirl, which follows up Superman. Which, man, there's a lot to be said about this on all spectrums. And so, we'll just kind of just get into it. But let's start with a little bit of like a little more general things, just kind of know where everybody's at. Before we start talking about the movie specifically, let's just kind of just go around and be like, what's everybody's experience with the DCU so far? And kind of like, what were you kind of expecting going into this movie? And we just go around clockwise here. I know for me and Andrew, it's going to be very similar because me and Andrew, you're the one person that's been with me on every single one of these DCU reviews. It started with doing Creature Commandos together. We did 2 episodes of that, kind of covering like first half, second half, so you all can go check that out. And then, well, we also, I mean, especially Superman, obviously, right? Like, how can we not do Superman? And then we've covered all of Peacemaker together, except, actually, you weren't there for one episode, but other than that,
how dare you?
Well. We don't go into why.
But just overall, like, how have you felt about the DCU and expectations for this movie, Andrew?
As far as the DCU goes so far, I think it's been off to a pretty good start. I know not everyone watched Creature Commandos. I thought it was pretty good, considering I didn't really know much about any of the characters going into it. Yeah. Of course, I love Superman. That movie was just meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
Peacemaker season 2 was great, hilarious, and really good. So I was pretty high expectations going into this, especially because Spencer and I, we read and reviewed the comic a couple weeks ago. And I think this is the first time with a comic book movie I have read the comic before going and seeing the movie, with it being basically a direct adaptation. So I love the comic. My expectations were pretty high. I left the theater feeling pretty in the middle on the movie. There's things I liked about it. There's things I didn't like. I'm not on this movie's awful, this is bad. There were a couple things I didn't like, but I didn't hate it, and it didn't ruin the movie for me. And there's things I really like about it that I know we'll deep dive into that more in a bit. So yeah, like I said, I'm pretty just down the middle on it at the moment. And so yeah.
Sure. Seen that said a lot, but what about you, Jordan? DCU experience, expectations for the movie?
Yeah, so DCU, obviously, over on our podcast, Soups and Sabers, we've been covering kind of the build up to the whole thing. I launched I originally had like 3 different podcasts, one for Star Wars, one for DC, one for Marvel, and the DC one I started kind of at the tail end of the DCEU, right? So we're talking like Black Adam, Flash, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And I remember one of my, I guess it was probably like in the first, I think I started in 2021. So like a year later, right after Black Adam is the announcement that James Gunn is taking over and doing his own Superman film and everything. And I am a big Superman fan, and I felt like he'd been underserved on the cinema side of things for a while, right? Like TV shows, you guys are watching Smallville, so you are experiencing what I experienced growing up. And, he had great shows with like Superman and Lois. So getting him back on the big screen was a big thing that I think was needed. So I kind of, followed that film as close as I followed a film in production for a long time. And I really enjoyed Superman 2025. No surprise there. We did Creature Commandos on our show too, and I think many people who have skipped it should go back and watch it because I really do enjoy Creature Commandos a ton. And then Peacemaker season 2, I really enjoyed as well. So as of going into this movie, they were batting 1,000. As we were going into this one, I'm familiar with the comic as well. So I guess my expectations, though, after seeing some of the trailers and stuff, wasn't like super high. For me, this did not have like the weight on its shoulders the way that James Gunn's Superman did.
No.
Right? Like that one was not just the weight on the shoulder of a universe. It was like, am I going to finally get that Superman movie that I've been waiting for my whole life? And I did. So like that was a success. I was happy though that they went with Supergirl as movie 2 to kind of keep the focus on, the super family at the beginning here, when DC is so far really just focused on Batman and crew for such a long time.
Sure. Absolutely. And Michael, what about you?
So I grew up more of like exposed to Marvel than I did DC. I never really got into comic books like that until much later in life. And by that, I mean within the last like year or so. So I'm not super familiar. Like, obviously I know Superman, I know Batman, I know, the Flash. I would say the most I've done as far as like reading DC comic books has been the Long Halloween read through that we've been doing, which has been really fun. And I'm sad that I missed a few sessions of that. But anyway, I also really like Superman. Superman is like, don't get me wrong, Batman is still my favorite. Well, anyway, I won't get into all that because I'll be here all night debating with myself. I love Superman though. I remember the first time I ever saw Superman in anything, like whether it was TV, movies, whatever, was actually Superman Returns. And I, as a kid, I loved it. It was such an iconic movie for me. It captured a lot of that. I know a lot of people didn't care for it at the time or whatever, but for me, it really encapsulated that essence of like what Superman is, which is like a symbol of hope and justice, and just I feel like James Gunn has done an amazing job so far of bringing it back to that. I love Henry Cavill. I do. I think he did an amazing job for what he had. But I'm so glad that we're getting away from the dark, gritty, like Superman, where it's because it works for Batman. It does not work for Superman, in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else James Gunn has got. I have not seen any of the DC shows, so I've not seen Creature Commandos. I've not seen Peacemaker. It is on my backlog of things I need to watch and catch up on. But
have you seen the Suicide Squad?
I've not. That's what I'm saying. I've seen.
Yeah, go see that first. Yeah,
it's so good.
I've seen James Gunn's Superman and now Supergirl. That is what I've seen. Yeah. But I really enjoyed this movie. I went into it with zero expectations because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know that this like was adapted from like directly from a comic book. So that's actually very interesting. I'll have to check that out. Especially with some of the plot points that kind of took me off guard for a little bit, because I was like, wow, they really did that in this movie. Like, that was ballsy. And I appreciated the fact that they were, and we'll get into that when we get further down. But yeah, I was very impressed with this movie. I will say there was one moment where I was like, wait, what? I was a little confused on the timeline of certain things, but again, we'll get into that anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as for myself, also welcome in, JD. Great to have you here, and anybody else watching out there. But yeah, so as for me, like similar with obviously Andrew and Jordan, I've also checked out all the DCU stuff. I was a big fan of honestly all the stuff. None of it's really let me down, and I've honestly been thinking about rewatching Creature Commandos and maybe even Peacemaker season 2 because I enjoyed those, and also just kind of curious of like how they are on a binge. And I would also say I now have the ad-free version of HBO Max, and ads freaking kills. Like there are no crap on there.
Kills the momentum.
Yeah, right. So anyway, there's also that too for me personally. But yeah, I was looking forward to Supergirl. As Andrew mentioned, we both reviewed the comic, and it was one of those stories that like it's a really great comic. I think. I mean, I haven't read much Supergirl stuff, but of the 2 Supergirl stories I've really read, like gone into and read and actually reviewed, it is the one I would recommend of the 2. And like, it's definitely worth reading. I've seen a lot of people say maybe go back and read the comic after the movie, just because of how much has changed, which I think is a very fair thing to say. Mm-hmm. I will say one thing about the movie is, or one thing that I think maybe DC kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit with is how much they were like, this is an adaptation of the comic when it kind of isn't, in my opinion. Like, it definitely takes like a little bit, like maybe first 15, 20 minutes, like up until you get to the big first space action sequence. It's like, yeah, that's comic stuff right there. But then it's like after that, it kind of doesn't really do much other than maybe a couple moments in the last act. And so I definitely do think that DC kind of created a false sort of expectations there a little bit, which with a lot of people being disappointed of being like, oh yeah, I love this comic, and then they watch this movie and it's not the comic. It's like, okay, I can understand disappointment as far as that goes.
Well, I'm glad you gave me that warning before I went into it.
Yes. It's right after I saw Supergirl, I texted Andrew. I was like, I like Supergirl, but don't be expecting the comic, because I know one thing that you were saying after reading the comic was it got you more excited for the movie, and I was like, I better warn him about this.
Yeah.
But like that's kind of like a vibe I kind of got from a lot of the reviews and stuff of like, you know, it was like, I don't know, I try to not read too much in reviews, but like I was kind of like exposed to kind of some of the things that people were saying about it.
It's hard to avoid sometimes.
It is hard to avoid, especially when it's something that you're so excited for, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you know, I've heard that a lot of critics just kind of just thought it was fine, you know? And you know, I think that's fair to say of like, I think when it's compared to the grand scheme of superhero movies, I can definitely see how it's, as people would say, like a mid movie compared to a lot, right?
But people were saying it was worse than like the Sonyverse movies, and I'm like, no, it's far from that.
That's a big problem I have. There's so many comparisons that this movie is
It's Loban time.
My God.
Oh.
Yeah, so many of the comparisons that this movie has gotten has really annoyed me, right? Of being, you know, compared to like Shazam to Black Adam and all sorts of movies. Flash was a big one that really annoyed me. I was like, guys, Flash wasn't it. I'm sorry. But you know,
not to flex on anybody, but I did get to see the Supergirl trailer in a format that I guarantee none of the rest of you got to see, which was
from a little Nintendo.
No, which was from a billboard in Shibuya Square in Tokyo. That was interesting. They had.
You didn't see me there with you.
It was cool. They had a pop-up shop there in Shibuya.
Oh, really?
Shibuya crossing for Supergirl and DC stuff in general.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to go in, but it was cool to just see it.
Yeah.
You know,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
But I've been in Shibuya in the last couple of weeks, virtually though, in Forza. But you know, anyway,
okay. I was about to say, what the heck?
Well, it's been a while since I've actually been there, but yes, but yeah, that's really cool though.
Yeah,
but yeah, so Yeah, so I want to begin just kind of spoiler free, and then we'll get into spoilers and delving all into this movie. And I'll give a clear flag of, hey, we're going into spoilers, but I kind of just want to like delve into, and might spoiler free. I might also not last long. Is kind of just like the overall thoughts, just kind of like overall review, spoiler free for everybody. I'll go backwards. Michael, we can begin with you.
My overall thoughts, I really enjoyed the movie. I went into it with zero expectations, which is how I like to go into any movie that I want to actually enjoy.
Yeah.
I've found that when I go into a movie now, mind you, that's going to be hard to do when the new Spider-Man and Doomsday come out, because I'm so hyped for those anyway.
Sure.
That's not what we're here to talk about. Focus. Okay.
We're here for DCU Marvel shell.
But no, I went into it expecting a good time, because I did enjoy Superman, and I was like, okay, this is going to be much of the same thing, and I was wrong. It was very, very different from Superman, but not in a bad way. It was its own thing. It was unique, but it also still had that that same sense of like, you could tell it was a James Gunn movie. Like somebody said, "Oh, it felt very Guardians of the Galaxy." I was like, "Yeah, duh." like same guy made the movie anyway. There were
important to say this movie is directed by Craig Gillespie, and it's actually his first ever action movie, which is also really interesting. And we'll delve into that in a moment.
I forgot the name of the writer too, because she's writing like Wonder Woman and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. So I was very there were aspects of the movie that shocked me in a good way. That it makes me a little hopeful for James Gunn's DC universe. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so far I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Fair. Awesome. All right, Jordan. Overall review.
I think I kind of ended up where Andrew ended up with it being, I'm in the middle. It's like I think I gave it a 3 out of 5, which is a 6 out of 10, right? It's I think it does itself a disservice by trying to adapt Woman of Tomorrow, and then changing some stuff that or maybe not even getting the main point of the comic. But with that though too, it's not like, I've seen people say it's one of the worst DC movies ever made. We talked about people are comparing it to like the Sonyverse films and stuff, and I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
Either. It's just I don't feel strongly about this movie at all. Like, I don't love it, I don't hate it. Mostly say it's fine, right?
Sure.
With it's funny because you were talking about the Flash and Black Adam and Shazam Fury Gods. That's kind of where I put this one. Is now I'm higher on those movies than most, I would say, but like
Sure.
like it kind of lives in that Fury of the Gods, Black Adam, Flash area for me. When I already put it in my letterbox list of DC films overall, and that's kind of where I ended up putting it. It was kind of like middle. I don't like using the word mid because I know that just means like
it sounds worse.
It does sound worse, and I hate the term. So
I
like
agree.
I would just say fine.
Yeah.
I either
like
say
it's-
like fine or solid is usually
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
You're
Yeah,
like, it's definitely one of the DC movies of all time.
Yes, it's one of them. Yes.
Yeah, it is 25 in a 50 movie ranking.
Yeah, exactly. It's like right in that middle, but I
Yeah,
don't like
sure.
using the word mid. It sounds more like
Yeah.
an insult than any
It
other
does.
type of thing.
I hate that because it's like people say that, but it's like that doesn't mean it's bad, you know?
No, and
And-
like Jordan says, people will take it that way. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
it's a problem too of if something's not great, they're like, oh, it's not great. Well, it's horrible.
And I still
And-
kind of take it that way. When
I
I see
know.
people say mid, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, and then I'm reading and I'm like, well, I mean, technically yes, but
Yeah.
you know, it's I saw somebody say mid is not bad. It means good. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It means middle.
No.
It means
Yeah.
the middle.
Yeah.
It means mediocre. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Mediocre.
Nobody-
It's perfectly
no-
balanced.
nobody,
You know?
nobody,
Yeah, like all
nobody
things should
wants. Nobody wants
All movies should be
mediocrity.
mid.
Yeah, exactly.
We're redefining mid, guys. We're
Yeah.
taking back the term.
Yeah, it's like when bad to the bone and all that. When it was like you're bad,
Yeah,
you're
oh, I
good.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we got to do now. Is make
Yeah.
mid mean good.
That's so sick.
yeah, exactly. So mid, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, man.
All right, Andrew, what do you have for your solo review?
Yeah. So I guess kind of going off a little bit like what Jordan said, like I said earlier, this movie does certain things well. I will say from a standpoint of going in with the idea of it adapting, I didn't like certain changes that they made, and we'll go into those deeper.
Yeah.
Some of them just didn't make sense from a story and structure standpoint. That kind of affected me. I thought, and I'll only say this because it's in the trailers, I thought they did the flashbacks really well. I didn't necessarily always like where they were placed throughout the movie. But I thought when we saw them, they were good. Millie Alcock, I thought was great. I think she's great as Supergirl, and she's going to continue to be great, I think, as that, because I felt like I was watching the Supergirl from the comic for the most part. But like I said, just to keep it general, it's right down the middle. It's like it's fine, it's solid. Like it's not, we live in a world with critics where it's either the greatest thing you've ever seen or the worst thing you've ever seen. And then, like Jordan said, you say it's there in the middle for me. People they just don't like that, and I'm like, not everything is going to be groundbreaking. Like,
Yeah.
Both sides don't like it either. Like, they'll
I know.
say it's worse than mid if I
Yeah.
say it's mid, and then they'll say it's
know.
better than mid if you
Yeah.
say it's mid. So I mean, like, you can't win.
No, you can't. And the thing too is to be fair, before I even read the comic, I wasn't too familiar on Kara and her overall background. I mean, I had seen her in some animated projects, but you never got like a deep dive into her background from the ones that I saw her in. And so reading the comic was really cool because I got to understand the character more. And I think the movie does a good job of doing that for the most part. But like I said, I'll kind of leave it at that. There just were some structural things with the writing that didn't quite work the way I thought they would. Not that they were inherently bad. I do think my expectations were maybe a bit too high for the product. I mean, it's got its fun times. And like what Michael said, one thing that for me kind of hurt it a little bit is it felt like at times Greg Gillespie was trying to make a James Gunn movie, because I had to keep reminding myself that James Gunn didn't direct this movie.
No.
And maybe part of that is from him overseeing it, maybe something in the editing room. It's like, I don't dislike the style because I like James Gunn, but I kind of wanted it. And it's, it's a darker story than Superman. So it's not, exactly like a James Gunn project, but I was hoping for a little bit of a different, more on the darker. I don't know, but if that makes sense. But anyway, that's kind of my overall thoughts there.
Wait, you were hoping it would be darker?
Well, the comic gets pretty dark at times, and maybe that's my own expectations.
I'll wait for the spoiler section to say what I have to say about how dark it was.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been the criticisms of like visually the movie's really dark, but like the comic contents, it gets pretty deep, I'll say, in some places.
Yeah.
And the movie definitely kind of undermines some of that.
Yes.
The movie doesn't
symbolism
have
and
the
poetry.
teeth that the comic does.
Yes, that's a good way to say it. And
it's
I
like-
would recommend anybody who watched the movie and hasn't read the comic, I will say go read the comic after. And I think it's also fair to say too, as with arguably every adaptation ever,
Mm-hmm.
the book is always better, guys. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
just
I'm
how
not
they
trying
are.
to be here. I'm not trying to be one of those guys that's like, only read the comic book because that's all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not one of those people. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that that's how good the comic is. The story is so poetic,
Yeah.
and there's a depth to it that I just didn't get from the movie.
Fair
I
enough.
think
fair
I think
enough.
that's fair too,
Yeah.
just because like they're the ones that tried to adapt this, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
as much as I love James Gunn and everything, right? Like I've been his biggest defender, I feel like, in a lot of this.
Sure.
To keep saying that this script is like really great and it's adapting one of the most famous Supergirl stories, at least,
Yeah.
and more famous, I would say, recent comics of anything right now, that's a tall task. And
Yeah.
when you have
Yeah.
people come out thinking that it didn't live up to it, I mean, that's just what's gonna make
That's
people
true.
question it, and they're gonna look at stuff and be like, why did you change that? And a lot of people will just say, well, it's an adaptation, you make changes and stuff. But
Yeah.
I do think some of those changes are a little perplexing, and some of the quotes
Yes.
from the writer and director have been perplexing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure. I will say, as far as that goes, I think, well, first off, yes, I really enjoyed the movie. I definitely felt as if it was like Guardians meets Mad Max was the vibe I got from the movie, like the entire time when watching it. There's only really like one part that really felt like bright, of kind of how it looked in the comic. And even then, I don't think there's a place in the comic. Was the like space station a thing in the comic? I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's where
Yeah.
the hand washing scene.
Oh,
typically
right.
takes place.
Yeah,
Which
but
is,
like
that
the
is
only
such
thing.
a good scene.
It
man,
is.
in the comic.
It is. Yeah.
And that sounds silly to anybody that hasn't read
I
that. They're
know.
like,
Yeah,
hand
I know.
washing is
I'm
the
sitting there
best
like,
thing in this
I'm
comic.
like, Yeah, I'm over here like, Spencer, you're gonna have to send me that link.
Yeah. Happy
Send
birthday
me
to you. Happy birthday.
Yeah, you'll have to definitely go back and read it, Michael, and let us know what you think of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, I definitely really enjoyed
And
it.
once you do, sorry, I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
once
yeah.
you do, you're gonna get DeVito gif of "I get it now." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito gif of "I get it now." Like you'll understand.
Yes,
One
exactly.
of us. One of us.
And then you could also check out me and Andrew's breakdown of it too, where we
Yeah.
talked a lot about it. And so yeah. Anyway, no, I really enjoyed the
Shameless
movie.
plug.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
And of course, you're on the everybody's watching the Dingus Den,
of
and
course.
best comic content out there,
course.
obviously, right? Anyway,
Of course.
Obviously.
yeah.
Of course.
I have to say that guys are all get fired. So
Send the contract.
Can't
Um,
lose that great compensation package you've got.
yeah.
All those benefits.
Maybe one day I'll get health insurance,
Whoa,
Let's not
Wait,
get
I'm being
into
too
Oh,
greedy,
no,
guys.
hold
Sorry, Creed.
on.
I'm sorry.
You're pushing your luck, dude.
Anyway, so I've watched Supergirl twice. I watched it first
Okay.
on like the Wednesday, like fan
Preview?
first
Yeah.
screening preview that they did, because I'm there right away if I can make it. I am not a person that if I have the option to watch something right away, I will. I'm terrible about waiting.
He was trying to
watch
open the
something
door
else
and the theater's like, we're not even.
You're not even open. I think we lost AJ there for a while. I think he's good now though.
They're like, Spencer, you do this every time. You have to stop, man. You have a problem.
But I did actually just rewatch it tonight.
Oh.
Literally just before getting on here and to talk about it. And I honestly think I like the movie more the second time around, especially after having digested it being okay, maybe it's more of its own thing, and also like kind of reading into those comments that Jordan you referenced. Like I definitely think it makes like the villain change. Like I'm not gonna necessarily say the villain's great, but it makes that new villain choice I think easier to digest after kind of reading that, and we'll talk a bit about that. But also welcome in Dale. He says, hello there, I'm not staying, but I thought I'd pop in and see how you all like Supergirl. Well, I appreciate you stopping in for just a little bit. Appreciate anybody that just comes by and says hello for just a moment, Dale, and great to see you here. And so
We all
but-
hated it. No, I'm just kidding.
no, we're actually all Well, me and Michael are on the side of like, Michael's this guy down
We're
here.
mixed to positive on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mixed to
We're
positive,
perfectly
yeah.
balanced.
Yeah,
This whole
exactly.
thing should be. But yes. Yeah, no, I think I generally did just like it a bit more of just, kind of understanding where things are. But then also part of it too is I hate seeing something get hated on that doesn't deserve the hate. And I'm thinking too, it's like, I think part of my mindset with maybe like Alien War is just kind of being this sort of defender of it, of it shouldn't be compared to these worst comic book movies of all time. And when I'm comparing it to that, it seems like it's so much better than those, Like something I think is kind of crazy too to talk about too, and I'd be curious on your all's take on this, is I was talking with somebody a couple days about it, and he was like, yeah, I think it's the best female comic book movie that we have. And I'm like, okay, I think that's honestly a fair thing to say, because when you're talking about the
Catwoman, I mean, come on, guys.
I was like,
Electra extended cut. No,
I was like,
Oh, no.
because I honestly feel like it's a tough competition.
I would put Captain
Black Widow,
Marvel
guys.
way above this.
See, I
Really?
disagree on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, me too.
See, because for me, I think the only one that I think comes close is the first Wonder Woman, but I'd have to rewatch that. And I also think maybe overall Wonder Woman 84 is maybe just soured my taste on Wonder Woman in general, because
Yeah.
or at least that
The first
version
Wonder
of that-
Woman is pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like
Yeah.
I like this movie.
We don't talk about 84.
But then I also think too, if you consider like Thunderbolts a female-led movie, because it is, even though it is a team movie, it is Yelena led, right?
Yeah.
That's
true.
easily. But when you're talking about the solo female-led titles, right? I would say, I think this one kind of competes in the top spot with Wonder Woman for me, at least. I would have to rewatch Wonder Woman, but it's also like, it's been a long time since I've seen Wonder Woman, and I'll also admit that I do think recency bias is a thing, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
100%. And I came out liking the movie, and it's fresh. But I think it's also fair to say that there's vibes of Supergirl that I just like more. Like if I was to go put on a movie, the vibes of Supergirl is something that I would probably enjoy more to just put on than Wonder Woman.
It's funny you mentioning that. About halfway through the movie, the thought popped in my head. I was like, yeah, in about a year or two, this is going to play midday on like TNT during the day. Like, I hate to say it, but yeah.
Let's see here. We got I think a first time chatter. I don't recognize the name. I'm sorry if you've been here before, but Diva Smuris. I don't know how to say. I'm just gonna say Diva. I hope that's okay. Anyway,
Spencer, you don't recognize Diva? Gosh,
Yeah, Spencer. What the heck?
Yeah, generic movie. Like I think it's fair to say that it's just solid, but I think trash it is a bit out there.
Yeah, like I'm not, and like Jordan, I'm not to that. Like it's far from that for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Definitely no quest for the mighty sword.
Yeah,
because that's the thing with the other movies it's being compared to. Those are boring to watch. This movie has some parts that are entertaining and fun. That I'm like, okay, I like that scene. But like a Morbius or a Madam Web or a Electra extended cut, I'm like, I'm bored the whole time. Like there's nothing of value there, for me at least.
I do think this one takes a bit to get going, though.
I agree on that a little bit.
I don't know. I didn't mind it as much. I don't know.
I enjoyed the
good.
pacing. I
enjoyed
I didn't think it was that bad, but like
I guess I thought for me, well, I don't want to go on a whole plot point. Because I know
we'll get into some spoilers here very shortly.
Yeah.
So we're like 30 minutes in, Spencer. How much longer can we?
I was about to say we're about to.
I hate to say it. This isn't that. It's hard to like deep dive into this movie. I feel like.
All right. Well, all right. We're about to get into it. I just want to go through these comments first. Dale was saying that he just saw it, so he's still digesting it, thinking it through, almost what he expected, but he found out about the other character last night. Okay. Diva says Captain Marvel and the Marvels was better than this. See,
Marvels is a It's a fun movie. I'll give it
I would
that.
agree with the
It's-
comment. Yeah, I actually do like the
Yeah.
Marvels probably better than this too. But
I would-
I'm somebody that's high on those though too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm more of a fan of the Marvels than I am Captain Marvel, just because I thought the Marvels, it was like chemistry. Like there was just, it was fun.
Yeah,
Like
I
the three
still,
of them had good
I still haven't
chemistry.
seen, I still
But-
haven't seen the Marvels yet.
I mean, we all know She-Hulk. It's a show, but like She-Hulk guys, like
No,
God.
Shut your
Oh.
mouth, sir.
I'm actually a She-Hulk defender, by the way. So
you like the twerking.
Oh,
of course.
I like She-Hulk, but yeah.
we'll just
For
leave
the plot,
She-Hulk in
right?
the
You like She-Hulk for the plot.
Hey guys, we're here to talk about Supergirl.
So anyway, Dale is saying they like Supergirl overall. It's a little harder to follow like 1984, but way better, and love the backstories. Diva says Wonder Woman was way better than Supergirl. Supergirl's on par with 1984. See, I did not like 84.
No,
I watched 84
that
once,
ruined
and I was
Christmas,
like,
guys.
no. But the action
Yeah,
was good.
that felt like an
See, that
insult
is
to
one
me.
thing too. People were hated on the action of this movie, and there's some parts I thought was really good. Like there's one action bit, and it's in the trailer. Like
Yeah.
they showcase one action bit in the trailers where it's like in the city, like in the
Yeah.
middle, and you see like Supergirl and Lobo there. Like there's a cool. I'm pretty sure it's one take where it shows Supergirl
Yes.
fighting, and then it goes over to Lobo fighting. He's whipping
Yeah.
around his chain and hook, and it's like this is cool. You know, I was like,
You know the
that's, like, that's
problem.
not bad for a first time director. Like I thought it was solid action. I'm not now. I'm going to say if you compare it to like James Gunn's Superman, like he just knows
Yeah.
how to do that action so much better. But he's also way more experienced with it. This is Craig
Yeah.
Gillespie's first ever time doing an action movie. His biggest
See, the
movie
problem-
prior to this was Cruella, which
Yeah.
And
very
Fright Night.
different.
I mean, Fright Night gets kind
Okay,
of
I'm looking
actiony
at
at
that.
times.
Sure.
I was gonna say the problem I had with now looking back with the trailer, Spencer, and this is not specific to this movie, but it basically shows like all the action scenes
I
in the
wa-
trailer.
Showcase. I was going to say.
And so when you get to the movie, it's kind of like, well, I've already seen this.
I
Alright,
think
You know
so,
why
you know.
though? Is because for I don't think this is a spoiler, but for most of the movie, she's not wearing her suit. So in the trailer,
Yeah,
they have to show the scenes with her in the suit to
Fair,
show that
that's
this is
fair, yeah.
Supergirl.
that's
So
So
also
then
good.
it shows a lot of the action, and I think that's probably the
that's fair.
Why?
That,
I will also say I think Superman actually suffered from the same problem where too much was shown in the trailers.
yeah, it's a
They
real
show all
problem.
the major action bits. Like Superman trailer showed the whole crazy cool stuff that he does with the what
yeah,
are they called, Predator suits or whatever.
Raptors.
Raptors, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
It's the Raptors and like a lot of that cool stuff. And so it's like
And that's a
It will
modern
show a lot.
movie day problem.
I was about to
So,
say, I think this
yeah.
goes beyond just DCE. It's everybody
it's
that
not-
usually
it's
shows
far
too
from
much.
specific to
Yeah.
Supergirl. Yeah.
Marvel has the opposite problem. They fucking haven't been showing anything lately.
Good.
Yeah, I like you. I like.
Though
being
I've
as
seen
blind
people
as possible.
complaining that Brand New Day is starting to show too much too.
I could
I've
maybe
just
see it.
tuned it out.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
stopped
Yeah.
looking at stuff.
I think that Brand New Day is going to have a twist that nobody's expecting. But yeah,
Yeah,
All right. Well, let's start talking some spoilers. We're a good bit into this and spoiler free. So for
Yes.
anybody
finally.
watching, I don't have a spoiler tag or anything to put up on screen, but I know, right? Here is your final warning. Anybody that's catching this on the replay, anybody that's live here, anybody that doesn't want any Supergirl spoilers, now is the chance to tune out. We've talked.
leave
over-
now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah.
just hit
yeah.
the mute. Just hit the mute button. Keep the
Actually,
stream
yeah.
going.
Actually, great
Let's
idea.
see us doing
Great
this.
idea.
we keep the views up, but just mute it so you don't
Yeah,
actually hear
exactly.
keep chatting so we keep the engagement, but just
Yeah.
don't listen to what
Exactly.
we're saying if you haven't watched.
the just lorem ipsum that shit, you know.
So yeah. Final warning for anybody that doesn't want anything spoiled. But all right. Spoiler free. Spoiler is away now. I
So
do have
space cancer.
Well, yeah, let's
That was a thing. That was
That
a
was-
thing in this movie.
And that is in the comic. I'll give him credit for that.
I was going to say, yeah, let's talk about like the worlds and stuff they showed, right? That was actually one of the specific points I had was wanting to talk about kind of like the different settings we got to saw. Because one thing I personally really like about the movie, and I was wanting to get your all's opinion on this, is like how they were showing the different locations, you know, because you saw the taglines of, oh, this is a red sun planet. This is a yellow sun place. Oh, this place, it's green and yellow, you know?
Yeah.
And I honestly really like that distinction because I think in a way it better set up kind of how Kryptonians work honestly better than like Superman, I think. And it kind of set up a good way of like, this is just how Kryptonians kind of get their kind of powers and stuff when you look into it. And that was something I actually really enjoyed it. And it hit with me even more when I rewatched it. Was just like, I feel like it's really good kind of Kryptonian 101. This is how they work.
Yeah.
And you even got like, you know, there's a part in the final battle where you do get to like actually see it in working, right? And so I did like that. But yeah, what do you all think about that?
I think the Green Sun is an interesting concept. It's in the comic and everything, but
Yes.
does it make sense?
Well,
there's some of the stuff with kryptonite that didn't make sense in this movie.
So like there is like, look, in the comic, this place is built as a prison for Clark. So I guess the Green Sun would actually be kryptonite. But if it is just in the movie, they don't mention that at all.
No.
Yeah.
So this kind of feels like, you know how like Green Lantern's weakness is yellow?
I was literally just thinking that. I'm like,
it kind of feels like that, but it's like kryptonite's the weakness, not green, right? So
exactly.
like, is there radiation of krypton, you know, like of kryptonite that is the sun? I don't know. Like that's this is something that comes from the old Silver Age comics too. Apparently, like Tom King found this from like an older comic.
It's a very obscure. I actually mentioned this when me and Andrew did our review because you know it felt like a very specific reference of Clark was here.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I looked it up. Then it's either in like a Superman or Action Comics. I don't remember, but it's like 200 something, and it's not even available to read online.
Yeah.
But it's a very obscure comic out there.
That is one of those interesting details that I will say when they didn't include that in the movie from the comic. And again, I'm not going to say that everything needed to be in the movie from the comic, but I'm curious as someone like, I guess for you, Michael, who did not know that detail, that it was created as a prison for Clark. And she even says, he was there for like 45 minutes and she was there for like, in the comic, she was there for a while.
It's like a whole day. She had to wait till
the
nightfall.
Whole day. Yeah.
And she got there like early on in the day.
Yeah. And so it adds a little bit to the stakes, I feel. But I'm curious. I'm just curious why they didn't, because they could have just fit that in. Because Ruthie stayed, like, you know, she says.
I think what Anna Naguera said about this is from something else I'd heard or read, is that, you know, in the comic they make a lot of references to Superman having made enemies with people throughout the galaxy.
Yeah,
and I think they were purposely trying to restrict that since he is such a young Superman. Like he's 3 years in. It doesn't seem like he's left Earth a lot. So I think that's why they probably cut out that kind of stuff.
Makes sense.
Same thing like Lobo doesn't really mention that he's running with Superman before. So
no,
that's
fair.
That's my guess on that, is that they were trying to, you know.
I can understand that.
I think also along the similar kind of wavelength-ish. Oh, this doesn't go too far off, but it also felt very much to me that the kind of story that this was also just very different as well, right?
Yeah.
Of what even, like, fundamentally even from the kind of story that Woman of Tomorrow is to this. And I say that as a Woman of Tomorrow is one of those comics that's actually, it's like the All-Star Superman of Supergirl. And the reason I say that is anybody that knows All-Star Superman, is it's a comic where each issue of All-Star Superman focuses on a different thing about Superman, an important characteristic about Superman that's really important. And it's a fantastic Superman comic. One of my favorites, if not my favorite Superman story, because it really showcases who the character of Superman is. And the Woman of Tomorrow comic, once you learn the end twist of it, you realize that it's a story that's very much, this is showcasing who Supergirl is. Problem is with this movie, though, is it isn't that at the same time. It's very much a self-journey that Supergirl is going through and not showcasing the kind of character that she is, which is something that, like, I think that kind of story of, like, character being showcased of who they are was shown in Superman and not necessarily like a big self-character journey, or maybe a little bit, but not quite like how this movie is, right?
Yeah.
And so I do think it's important to say, like, that the story itself is fundamentally different, which is one of the reasons why I'm like, it's not Woman of Tomorrow.
By the end, didn't feel as earned as they do in the comic, right? Like,
sure,
but that, you know, I'm not trying to dog on it too much.
Dog on it.
Oh yeah, because even even with the planets, and I know like they made the journey 3 days in the movie instead of like, was it like a month or 2 months?
It was months.
It's months comic. So you do have to make things more tight, which I
That
get.
makes sense.
And it makes sense, yeah. My issue was some of the planets are so cool in the comic. I was actually looking forward to seeing, and we do see some of them, but most of them it's just they go to a bar and they find who they need to meet to go to the next point to then go to the next. And I just thought it started to feel a bit repetitive for me from a story standpoint. But I understand that you have to change certain things for the movie, especially with the movie audience. Like it's got to be quick to kind of maybe heighten the stakes a little bit. So I get it. Plus, it's a short movie too for a superhero movie. It's only like an hour and 40 minutes ish. I think if it was like over 2 hours, they could have done more of that. But that's a nitpick more than anything.
So I loved some of the dialogue in this movie. I thought was great, especially anything with Lobo. I will say this 100%. Like Jason Momoa is much better as Lobo than he was as Aquaman. It almost feels like the role was made for him. I feel like, aren't you that ditzy chick from the dive bar? Huh? I said the same thing about you. Fair enough. And he just rolls with it.
Everything with Lobo in it in this movie I thought was fantastic.
He was a highlight for me.
Let's go and talk about.
I mean, he was really just there for plot conveniences, but he still was fun. He was entertaining. I
loved there because Lobo and Kara were basically like the dichotomy of like how you look at revenge for. I'm blanking on the girl's name, but Ruthie. Yeah, so it's like on the one shoulder, she's got Kara saying, "Hey, you don't want to actually do this. It's going to mess you up for the rest of your life." Yep. And Lobo's just like, "Fucking do it." Like, make it brutal, like absolutely. And so I appreciated that. It was subtle. They didn't really jam it down your throat that's what they were doing. And maybe I'm just seeing that for what it is and not, maybe that wasn't even their intention. I don't know, but I enjoyed that. And then the only thing I would say about this movie that I was like, I mean, and again, I only saw it once and it was yesterday. So I'm not as fresh into it, but and I haven't seen Superman in, I don't think I've seen Superman since we did the Superman review for Cam and Focus.
What did a review for it?
I'm pretty sure. Did we? I thought we did.
I don't think we did.
All I remember is you just watching it and then you talked to me about it afterwards.
I don't know why I thought we. Anyway, whenever that was, it was a while ago. So, but there was a scene. If I remember right, there's a scene in Superman where he voice calls Kara and is like, "Hey, just wanted to see when you were coming back." And you've been.
No, that's from the trailer of this.
That's the trailer. Yeah,
that's from this. Yeah.
I swear there was a scene.
She's at the end of the movie. She comes to the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Right, and she picks up Crypto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all we see of her in the movie. Okay.
Now. Okay. All right. Well, then that confusion is gone because I was like, I could have because I was thinking there was a brief moment where he makes that phone call to her in Superman. But I'm like, but she has Crypto in this movie, but he has Crypto in that movie.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right.
I did the David Cornsweet in this movie with her and the calls.
Yeah.
Those were great.
And it really showed you the difference between Kara and Clark.
That is something I love about this.
Yes, I did like that.
Millie Alcock was a fantastic Supergirl. I think she just really harnessed her role really, really well.
She did. She was so good.
It annoys me when they make Supergirl of just being, hey, this is female Superman.
Right. It's so annoying.
And this did not do that at all.
My favorite line, I was going to say, my favorite line in the movie is when she's talking to Ruthie and she's talking about how different she is from Superman and how he sees the good in everyone. He trusts everyone until they prove him different. And you have to earn that trust from her. She will just assume you're bad. She sees the truth. Yeah. And I got to give it credit. That line was really good.
There's that, or the line that Seth Rogen says. Anybody who didn't know the little creature?
Yes, I caught that. I was
caught that.
Seth
I was like,
Rogen?
I half expected him to just start.
That made me think of in Prisoner of Azkaban when there's the
little shrunken
bus,
head.
Yeah, the
head,
shrunken head,
with the- how there's like the bus driver and he's like,
Hey,
the Seth Rogen.
guys.
I was like, is that Seth Rogen?
Why the long faces?
Yeah.
But I love the line he says though of oh my god, how does it go? He's just like, sure, if I had engines or balls, I don't have either.
Yeah. And then he goes,
I
yeah.
love. Yeah,
he was,
that was,
he was good. I
was
did
great.
laugh at that.
I also love like they were eating like there was the brief scene where you see like the nuts getting made like and then she goes, this tastes like shit, and I'm like sitting there going, oh my god,
What's funny?
that was
all-
funny.
I just think of all the people that were eating caramel popcorn seeing this movie, and they're like, "Yeah, I've lost my appetite."
So that's how popcorn is made, kids.
No.
Now I will say so I mentioned it earlier. One of the darker plot points of this movie was, the child sex slave trafficking in this movie.
Yeah, that is not in the comic at all.
I went,
think
holy
No.
shit!
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Oh.
but here's the thing.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, they really did that, but they don't.
They don't like.
They don't.
go-
They don't do
like,
anything with
put
it.
Yeah,
Honestly.
they don't like put it in your
Yeah.
face. But it's mentioned, and it was like I had that like dark side meme reaction where I was like, hold on, run that last part by me one more time.
Did
Like,
I see that right?
Wait, hold on. You're saying they kidnap children to proliferate their all male.
Yeah.
This is space.
Yeah.
This is space
Yes.
Epstein. Oh dear
And-
God.
And
Got a private planet. Yeah.
Where's the Crim
supposedly
files?
in earlier cuts of the movie, though, they did delve more into like Krim was like abused as a child, supposedly, and then also that like actually kind of talking a little bit more about what they were doing was something I
Yeah.
heard. But I think
That was an interesting choice to include that. I was. kinda
Yeah,
surprised.
I was. Well, and it makes me. I want to say not excited. I would say it makes
Oh, I
me.
hope not.
No. I'm trying to find the word. My brain's not braining right now. I'm glad that they're not afraid to touch on topics like that. They're not,
Yeah.
So because here's the thing: there are so many great storylines that you can use that are dark like that without
Mhm.
the entire movie. Like I think
Right.
this movie did an excellent job of balancing the fact that it
Like that's not
did
the movie,
it did deal with a very dark topic, but that wasn't the point of the movie. And
Yeah.
at the end, she does save all the children. Like she does save
Yeah.
the children. She does save the kids. So even though that was not her mission in the movie,
Yeah.
so which I will say, and then they were like ballsy enough to like almost kill the dog. I was like, if you guys kill Joe, I'm like,
I
that's
know.
it. We riot.
Well,
So-
I gotta say, just this is completely a nitpick because it doesn't have an effect on the movie for me entirely. But Krem, I don't know why they changed his character design.
oh my god.
For the movie, because I remember when we were watching the trailers, we saw the trailer when it first came out.
Well,
when we were doing the
We
comic.
didn't know who he was. When
We were like,
watched
"Who
the
is this
trailer.
guy?" And
Yeah.
we were like, "That's Krem." Like, it's not a bad design. It's
Especially
just-
if you look at like,
But-
so I was covering this on the podcast, and like my thumbnail for the news of that
Yeah.
episode is a picture of the actor
yeah,
next to a picture of the comic, and he looks so much like the comic version.
does
of
he?
him.
yeah,
And then
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like, man, they nailed this casting. And then
Yeah.
they put him in here like this, and I'm like, oh,
I mean,
Okay.
he does still look menacing, but I like how he's like a Viking in the comic. I think that adds to
yeah,
the
he's just like a
gravitas
dude.
of his character.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, that's just a nitpick. That's not me trying to be a
I will
Schiller and
say-
Nancy.
The nicest thing I can say about Krim in this movie is
Who's that?
I like the change that this movie did of that he was actually part of the Brigands.
Yeah.
'cause
right off the
they-
bat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that works well for the adaptation, and I also for the comic. I was just like, okay, you just find these people and they're
Yeah, because I remember we brought that up. We were like, why isn't he just part of them? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So I did like that change with him specifically, but then I also wish like they would have done. I don't know. He was such
There's
a
also the
weird-
weapon change. He has the Kryptonian like arrows, but in the comic he has like the what do they call him something specific? It's like it was like the not like a globe thing or something.
Well, right, yeah.
I forgot what it was
remember, too,
called.
And seeing
but,
one of the promos leading into like a week before the movie, I remember Sam in A Great Sun, and I was thinking, oh, they're going to do that thing from the comic now.
Yeah, because to be fair, like how I am curious how long Kryptonians have been known about. Like how many people know about Superman?
Yeah.
And the wide universe. I mean, that is something I'm curious about because when he was like, I've been waiting to use these.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's 2 Kryptonians currently alive. Maybe Superman is well known enough throughout the universe that he could hear about that, but he doesn't know about Kara as a Kryptonian. Maybe not until I guess the planet.
Maybe that's a hint that they're setting up like some kind of like Zod thing. Like maybe Zod's still doing stuff.
My thought is it wasn't much of a stretch for him to realize she's Kryptonian because she steals her ship. So there could be information in there that shows that
that's a fair point. I didn't think
that she's Kryptonian. Yeah. And then I'm sure that either Superman or just the fact that I don't know, maybe there are some other Kryptonians that happen to escape that it's a well-known thing that kryptonite.
We don't know where Zod is.
I saw somebody complain. True. I saw somebody complain that that Lex said all of the kryptonite is gone. That's on Earth. Like, this is a totally different planet. Like, there's obviously,
and that's why I'm not complaining. I'm just curious.
No.
Like,
but I did see somebody say that, and I was like, but that was on Earth. Like, Lex doesn't know to look at another planet for kryptonite right now.
Yeah,
so,
it's just exactly.
I mean, race. Can we really?
Right.
I know. Yeah. No,
so
that's true. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, for Krem overall, for me, I was gonna make a joke and say the nicest thing about him is that we don't have to deal with him again. But you know, I think for some people, you know, who say that this is, you know, a boring villain or a pointless villain, whatever, lame, whatever they said, I think that's okay at times for stories like this where we can kind of get more of the character stuff. Like, I didn't need
not everyone has to be Thanos.
I didn't need a Thanos level villain for this, but I do think some of the, you know, the child bride stuff was weird in the point of where like when they said that, it kind of blew past me, and I was like, what did they say? And then, you know, as it's going on, I'm like, oh, they did say that. So they are stealing kids. Okay, that's weird.
It was definitely interesting.
And it makes the one line as they're stealing Kara's ship where they're like, should we take that guy's daughter with us?
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like you when you realize what they're doing and then you think back on it, it's like, oh,
you know, she almost was one of them.
Yeah.
So
well, I like what you said, Jordan, about the villain, because I kind of felt the same way. I mean, and I don't mean to compare Marvel and DC, but you look at a lot of the early MCU and like Phase 1 until Avengers, a lot of the villains are like specific to that movie and for that movie, and then you move on.
Whiplash.
And the character, the characters develop from that, and so they can take on the bigger villains. They learn from that, and so not everything has to be this galaxy-changing villain or whatever. It was fine. I still enjoyed Krem. For like I said, I had my nitpicks, but I still thought he was good for the movie.
Take that out of context and be like, on the podcast, Andrew said he enjoyed Krem.
Oh no, I'm gonna get cooked online.
Did anybody else get Moana vibes from Ruthie at the beginning? Like, I am Moana of Motunui. You will born.
That is true. That is true.
I gotta say, I am a little disappointed that we didn't get more time kind of building up Ruthie's family like we did in the comic.
I was going to say, the biggest thing from the comic, sorry to cut you off, Andrew.
No, you're fine.
The biggest thing from the comic I wish they kept of everything is the importance of the sword.
Yes.
The first time I watched the movie, I was like, because that beginning action sequence with Krem is very quick and it's very dark and happens in the kitchen, right? Literally, but I was like, did I miss the sword being there? You know, because there's that kind of saying that, you know, It could be easy to miss. But no, like it's just not there, and then she just has it. Versus in the comic, it's very prevalent why the sword's there.
She literally like takes it out of her father's body. Like, and I know from a narrative standpoint, I know, to be fair, I know the comic is Ruthie's. She's narrating the story. It's from her perspective, and this is following Supergirl, which is, so I get it. Like, I get that creative change, but I agree, to someone who maybe isn't as familiar with the comic, the whole death for a family, while it is still sad, it doesn't necessarily hold the same level of depth, I feel, that it does in the comic. It's kind of like, I mean, it's, I don't know. It was still there. It was still sad, but it was kind of like over and done.
Am I the only one that thought that it was a little unintentionally funny when the brother jumps out like that and then immediately dies? I was kind of like, I was kind of like, that's silly.
Well, here's the thing.
Because he's like scared. He's like, boo. And then he's like,
boo. Oh, dead.
Well, here's the thing. I saw it coming, but like the way they did it was still like, you saw it coming, but it was still like a like, holy shit, they actually did that. At least
I
for
didn't
me.
I didn't think that he would jump out to try to scare her. What I kind of thought was going to happen is he has got the headphones in. I thought he was going to walk out and be like, "What are you doing, sis?" Like really loud, and then Krem was just going to kill him. But
that's kind of what I thought too. Or at the very least, like I thought he was going to like call out from his room, like, "What are you doing, you weirdo?" Like standing there in the hallway, and then Krem might like, oh, you have somebody else here in the house. That was what I thought. You know, I knew something was coming. Yeah. But then he jumps out and he, you know, I'm just trying to imagine, like, you know,
as an older brother, I will take any chance to scare my sisters.
Right.
So you're gonna think twice about that now, though.
I know. Like, I was like jumping out the hallway.
Yeah, it's like I'm just trying to imagine like jumping out and trying to scare my little brother when we were, you know, kids, and then just having an axe embedded in my spine. And then, and to me, it was like, because then it went from, oh, he killed the brother to, well, now the whole family's dead and the house is on fire, and he just walks off and leaves Ruthie there.
Yeah.
Which, looking back now, was kind of out of character if you think about it.
I thought you were going to say that was his undoing, which it turned out to be.
I mean, it was.
He leads this whole thing to get him killed.
It was, but like,
I did think about this. Yeah,
you think about it. I mean, their whole thing is kidnapping little girls. And
my conclusion was they didn't have a ship to capture her on, and so.
But he could have just killed her, right? Like, I mean, so I do think that's where. So for people that don't know, like, only the dad dies in the comic.
Yeah.
The rest of the family doesn't. So, you know, they made that change to make her, I guess, need more like. More motivation, or just like she has nowhere else to go, like this is it,
right?
But so I'm thinking that kind of leads to some of those questions then of why didn't he kill her? It's like, well, in the comic he was just testing the dad and killed the dad,
right?
So he wouldn't kill anybody else. But then, you know, we talked about how dark the comic is. We haven't really gotten to it yet, but they kind of skipped the whole genocide stuff in this one. So, you know, that's what that hint was. And I kind of thought they would. While it's one of my favorite issues, it's like it lifts right out of the comic. Because it's such a side story in that. But yeah, so I'm guessing that's why he didn't kill Ruthie, is that they just needed to somehow get it back on track with the comic, and then that's kind of where
from a movie standpoint, it definitely does add to the motivation. So I do agree with that. I gotta say, I am curious how y'all felt with Supergirl killing him at the end, instead of like in the comic how it's Ruthie at 90 years old or something.
Well, even then, it's just meant to be that she knocks him out.
Yeah,
I know what
true.
it
That's
looks
true.
like.
Yeah,
but
so that was an interesting choice. I Supergirl too, because she's like, you're not going to be happy, Ruthie. It's all this stuff, and then after Supergirl does it, she's kind of like,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Supergirl, Kara has already had the burden of knowing that her entire
but I do think that's
she has that knowledge of what Krypton. I mean, at least in Proxy, you know, maybe not Krypton as a whole, but like in Proxy, like she understood like what her people were about. She got to experience them on some level, whereas Superman only has like recordings of
exactly
his, so Kara has a much like, and I mean, I think they did a good job of delving into
I love the flashbacks
of like the topics of like depression and loss and things like that. But like Kara has already like dealt with a lot of these issues in her own soul, and it's like she recognizes in herself like what she is able to handle, as opposed to Ruthie, who's a little girl. And
I like that they touched on that.
She's angry, and like she deserves justice, but for her to get the revenge is only going to harm her in the long run. And it's like it reminded me almost of like a scene in the last Harry Potter book, not in the movies because they didn't really touch on it. But during, shut the fuck up. You're wearing an Action Comics t-shirt surrounded by posters and minifigures. You shut the fuck up. But no, there's a line when he's seeing like Snape's memories, where they're talking about Snape killing Dumbledore, and he says, you know, you must be the one to do it so that Draco doesn't damage his soul. And Snape says, well, what about me? You know, do you have? And Dumbledore says, only you can determine whether or not helping an old man ease into the afterlife will damage your soul or not. So it reminded me of that, where it's like she knows what, like, she fully understands what the burden of responsibility is with taking a life, whereas Ruthie does not. And
she'll lose that innocence if she does,
right? And
which is why I like that they don't even do that in the comics. So yeah. So it was like it was very much like, and he even says before, like Krim says right before she kills him, is like, oh, you think you've saved her soul? Wait until I get through with her. And she's just like, no. I was like, kill him. I literally when he said that, I was like, just
like,
stab.
Okay, it's like okay, now you die.
Do it.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier, Andrew, of I didn't mind the change because it's going for a different kind of a story than what Woman of Tomorrow is.
And that's fair.
And also they fundamentally change what Krim as a villain is.
Right.
Like I said, with reading Anna's comments of he was intentionally built to be one of those villains that you hate so much you just want him to die.
It's a good payoff by the end, and I really do want to go back and rewatch this with this new perspective.
I'd be interested in what you think about it too afterwards. Because like I said, I liked it more after reading some of the decisions behind it, and also just accepting this is not Woman of Tomorrow. And
I think going into it,
So I guess this is probably my biggest thing with the movie is this, because I do think it's trying to tell the same story as the comic, but it's failing in that regard. I don't mean that in like a negative. I mean, it's negative, I guess, but I don't mean it in like this is a failure type thing. What I mean by that is just it doesn't reach the mark that it was trying to reach, because so one thing is that they totally misunderstood the comic, right? So like Anna Naguera says that the reason Krem dies in this is because he dies in the comic, and he doesn't. So like there is that. It's like Tom King's in the writer's room. How did they not clear this up? So that's kind of a thing, and I guess I do mind that she is the one that kills him, because while I do think what they're trying to do is, look, I've lived this life, let me do it because I want to save you from this. But her losing Krypton, I don't think is the equivalent to having murdered somebody and having to live with it. So, like, I understand, like, her...
It's like different losses, yeah,
it's different. Like, when she keeps trying to tell, like, Ruthie, like, I understand what you've lost. It's like, you've lost your family, but it was due to an environmental disaster. It wasn't like some guy, like there's nobody to get revenge.
Someone didn't hunt down your family.
There's nobody to get revenge on this. And I think, in the comic, they do such a good job of like her, her continually teaching Ruthie lessons throughout the book that shows why we don't do that. While also allowing other people to enact stuff without interfering, like the people that stoned the one guy. Like she doesn't interfere with that because that's their like justice system on this planet. But she's not partaking in it. And then when she's about to kill Krem in the book, Ruthie's the one that stops her because of what she's learned. And I think that is, and then at the end, when he's freed from the Phantom Zone, you know, Ruthie just hits him. But like, you know, she still has that need for revenge, but doesn't kill him because of what she's learned from Kara. So like, I think they were trying to do that, but then like, they let her kill him, and I'm just wondering, like, was there no other option? Like, we don't know. Like, is there a Phantom Zone in the DCU? We don't really know anything about that. Like, is there
Send
another
him to the planet in Peacemaker season 2?
Salvation. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I land on it. Is like, I'm not sure how crazy I am about her killing him. I understand that they can both have different lines. Like, I'm not. You know, for me, like the Man of Steel moment, it doesn't feel to that level because it's not Superman doing it, right? Like, I feel like I put Superman on a higher pedestal than Kara for when it comes to this righteousness, don't kill. But, you know, I think I still kind of lean more like, I wish she wouldn't after telling her this whole time that it's not going to fix anything. But I get the point of like she's thinking I can take that blow, Ruthie can't. Yeah. But I don't think she had to take that blow.
I think it boils down to just an execution thing, and I think that was kind of a little bit of an issue for me throughout the movie. Was I could see what they were trying to do, it just didn't always work for me. And so I can see like Spencer Michael's points and even yours, Jordan, on that, and it just when I look back to it, I'm like, it's interesting. So
let me ask you guys this. Do you think it would have been better if they would have had Lobo kill him?
I mean, they
could
have.
Just wouldn't add to the stakes. Yeah.
I think it may have made more sense than him just watching and saying, "Yeah."
I
was kind of like, why is he watching?
It seemed like in their brief stint in the holding cell together, I don't want to say bonded, but like. He kind of like gained a little respect for her with like how she handled herself. And
I did like Ruthie in the prison scene when she jumped on the guard.
Dude, she was a fucking badass.
No, I agree that I think Ruthie and Lobo had that moment, but then like Lobo's watching Kara kill him, so it's kind of like you know, so you know, I'm not sure.
And like they even Kara and Lobo even have that exchange. Where he goes, you know, she wants her revenge, and she goes, "It's not that simple." He goes, "Seems simple enough to me," and he throws him off the ship, and it's just like that to me. That could have been his death scene, and I would have been okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I didn't dislike the way they did it. Again, I've not read the comic, so I don't know all the finer details. But like, I think that I thought it was done well. But also, if that would have been Krem's like death scene, was Lobo just throws him off the ship, I'd have been like, give him like that like Mufasa scene where he's falling, he's like,
brother, or Die Hard, you know,
or Die Hard,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, even still, after watching it a second time, I'm still not sure on that moment particular as well. Like I said, I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt just because it's a different thing, right? But I don't know. I feel like that's one of those things I might not fully know how to feel about until after, you know, watching it once it's at home several months later. And
it also depends if it ever comes up again. I don't know if it will. Yeah. But like she's in the next movie. Like, does Clark know she killed somebody? Is he fine with it? He seemed fine with Hawkgirl killing Gorkos, right? So like, maybe he's like, hey, that's her. That's not me. I'm not going to do it that way. But like, you know, or it's something or it's something that Brainiac or somebody uses as leverage against the two of them.
That's a good point, Jordan, that I think people are forgetting. And I said this with Superman last year with certain people's issues is we're 2 movies in where this is our first movie with this character. They might be setting up certain things in this movie that we'll look back on and go, oh, that makes so much more sense. Either Man of Tomorrow, whatever, down the road.
Yeah. It might be
Like
something that, like, if we get
No.
if we get a Justice League where he
Yeah.
says, "This is what we're doing in the Justice League. It's not a Justice Gang anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Yeah.
not gonna kill. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do
Yeah.
like
Did you
he's
hear that,
gonna take
Kara?
that leader role at some point." Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a plan they have. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I have to try to give it the benefit of the doubt, even, is that we're still so early in with some of these characters that it's hard to fully judge certain things without knowing the full picture.
Like I said, I the way my mind is trying to justify it is, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about being a different kind of story because it's Supergirl. It's her journey. She's a new person by the end of this movie than in the beginning. That's not the case in the comic.
Yeah,
and
that's
an
true.
important distinction to say. And I do wonder how much a part of it is knowing, right? And we kind of get a little sense of it at the end of, like, she knows the kind of person Clark is. And after what she's gone through, she's like, well, now I have to be with him. And I'm trying to think of a good way to kind of word what I'm trying to.
I think she realized that she needed to be around somebody like Clark at the end of it to kind of.
I think that,
like,
yeah.
I will say I was glad that, and again, I didn't read the comic, so I didn't know what the relationship between Kara and Ruthie was after the events of this. But I was glad that they didn't do a, like, Thor Love and Thunder thing where, like, she basically or Batman and Robin
adopts her.
Yeah, just adopts the orphan. You know, she's like, oh, I'm gonna go stay with my grandmother or my aunt or whoever. I was like, oh, thank God, because like don't get me wrong, I'm one of the few people that actually liked Thor Love and Thunder, but even I'm just like, why is it such a superhero trope thing to just adopt the random orphan?
Oh, I know.
Make them your sidekick.
Well, that's the thing. Their sisterhood is really good in the comic, and I thought it was decent in the movie. I thought it would have been cool if we had like a small montage, maybe is how it would have worked, of like her showing Ruthie different lessons and like some of the things on the planets. Because again, you can't show everything, and I get that. But I think that would have helped with the payoff at the end a little bit more. But yeah, that's just
the only other moment in the movie where I was like, I call bullshit. Was
when the Bulls actually
no, it was during not the final fight, but like when she gets shot with all those kryptonite arrows, and she pulls them out, and I was like, okay, great. And then it just shows like the kryptonite breaking away from her blood vessel or her blood cells or whatever. I'm like, no, that's not how that works.
Well, they're on a yellow sun, right? So I think that's
I feel
what
like
they're
that
trying to do.
I feel like
it heals instantly.
I feel
or
like
mostly.
I feel like that helped, but she also still had an arrow in her gut when that was happening. I'm like, I feel like it wouldn't have happened that quickly. Because I mean, because think about it, Earth has a yellow sun, and kryptonite it still like screws up. Like
when he's out of the sun,
Well, if Lex stabs him with a piece of, like, I'm just thinking. I'm thinking back to, again, Superman Returns, where like he gets stabbed by it and he breaks it off into his body, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I guess it depends on your point of reference, because like I mean, these two are watching Smallville right now, and if he gets within a foot of kryptonite, he's like down for the count.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I know. Yeah.
But like, as soon as it's kicked away from him, he's up and at him.
It's like kicked off the side. He's like, boop,
Yeah.
boop.
Yep, exactly.
Welcome in the chat, Chimera. I saw your comments.
Hey.
I will also say, we did talk about the kryptonite arrows a little bit ago, specifically, but yes.
Now, do you think?
And I'm also not going to be in disagreement about the comic. The comic's definitely better. We also talked a bit about that before.
Now, do you guys think James Gunn is going to be ballsy enough to introduce pink kryptonite?
I'm not familiar enough with what that is.
It makes Superman gay.
There's so many different combinations of what.
There's some different kryptonites out there.
Yeah, that would be crazy to see Superman like that.
You just see Jimmy Olsen walks in like, "Hey, Jimmy."
If they want to be on Fox News every movie release, yes,
Right.
you'll do it.
No, you get Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro to review that.
Oh
but
boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Look at what the woke left has done to comic book movies. Look at
Oh, dude, they say
God.
that to every movie. I'm like, okay, guys,
Every single movie now. Yeah.
calm down. Let's calm down.
I will say I'm quite unhappy just on a broader thing. In general, just how hard the media is against DC when it's like, guys,
so
Marvel
annoying.
does things that's equally as bad, if not worse. Just like,
Yeah.
where's the hate
I
there?
still-
You know?
The faith is still there in the DCU. I still have faith in James Gunn.
Yeah.
That he's going to do things. And I did want to bring up just to talk in depth about the flashback scenes.
Yeah.
Yes,
For me,
I have that and one other big thing I wanted to touch on before we get out of here.
Sure. As far as media that I've seen, the Krypton has not really been shown in depth like that really since Man of Steel, but this is like post all that, and I thought they did a good job of adapting from the comic what happens with Krypton, so it's not all destroyed at once, and people are living on it for a bit. And
yeah, I actually did not know. Like, again, not a comic book guy.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know that was a thing. I was like,
so that was probably
that's
one of the best.
cool.
That was probably one of the best, most accurate parts that they adapted.
Actually,
from the
that's
comic.
cool because people are like, oh, they changed the origin. No, that's actually the original Supergirl
That is
origin.
the Silver Age origin.
The original, yes, exactly. So I thought that was cool. Because when I first watched it, I had the thought, as many people do, because it is that, but also different in the comic.
True. It was close though. It was close. Yeah,
but when I first watched it, I'm like, I understand why they changed this for a movie, and then I later learned, oh no, this is the original one. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
So
I like that.
I did like that they took the time to sort of set up her character and explain why she is the way she is.
Yeah.
So the flashbacks were probably my favorite part of this movie, and I think I said it on my show too, and I think that I was more invested in that. And I know we're not doing a lot of origin films anymore, but I really think the better move for this may have been doing those flashbacks and then having her land on Earth and have Clark take her under his wing for a bit would have maybe made a really good first movie for Kara.
Yeah.
Because like I said before, when you're adapting such a famous comic that is revered so highly, award-winning, like I think it won the Eisner Award or whatever, it's going to invite some really rough comparisons when you do it. No matter what, really. No matter if it's really great or not. So like
the bar is really high.
Right. And it's like maybe, for me, I just really enjoyed a lot of those Krypton scenes, having her get crypto, having her land on Earth, and having David Cornsweet, there as Superman.
That was one of my
he
favorite
starts
moments.
talking louder.
Why am I talking louder? Like, you can't understand a word I'm saying, can you?
That was good.
Yeah, so I think anytime he was on screen and anytime it was a flashback, my investment in the movie just went way up. Maybe it's because it was kind of like while they did the origin in the comic, this was a little different.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it felt fresher because like it wasn't an adaptation of something. We don't have a lot of these adaptations of an actual comic run.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like even Civil War, like they take the name, they change
Secret
everything
Invasion,
else.
That's the Marvel thing. They take the name, it's very different. Yeah.
They usually take the name and make it better in the case of Civil War. But in the but in this, it was very like they are doing a real adaptation of the comic, so much so the original title was Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow for the movie. So maybe that's why too. Maybe I was just like, hey, I've kind of seen this before by reading the book, so seeing like something else during this movie was fresher for me. But yeah,
interesting.
I agree.
See one of the big things, and I'm curious about what you think about this, Jordan, and everybody else, is that I've seen a lot of people wish that we got more Krypton, but I felt like we had just enough, like the right amount of Krypton in the movie.
I probably agree that we had just the right amount. I'm actually really excited too that they touched on Clark being Jor-El sending Clark to take over, be a conqueror of worlds. That little reference they make there.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did too, so people can stop saying, I know Gunn said that it's legit, but I still think that they might override that.
It's so annoying.
I'm like,
so
no,
annoying.
he said it's legit. They said
We've
it's legit 5 times in the movie.
Watch Smallville, guys. It's there too. Like,
right.
Differently,
exactly.
but sort of
Well,
it's there.
It was, Gunn's like, it's in the comics, and it is. It was in the original post-crisis origin written by, actually, John Byrne, whose name has also been in the news recently because of his new X-Men.
But I agree too. I think we got the right amount of Krypton, and like I said, I always like spending time there and seeing it. And I think just because we don't get a lot of it, like it's usually just a montage of it being destroyed, and then we move on.
Yeah.
So seeing that there was people living there and that they lived there, like in the comic,
she was actually born on Argo City, not on Krypton.
Yeah.
It's a nice.
And so I enjoyed it. I thought that was good. That was outside of Millie Alcock. That was the highlight of the movie.
And David Krumholtz was so good as her dad. Like, I thought and having to speak Kryptonian.
That was really impressive.
Putting the emotion behind it, cool. I thought he was. Really
I gotta say, it got me pretty emotional there at the end when she was like, "Why do I have to go?" She's like, "I'll die here."
Yeah,
right. Like, okay, that hits.
And he's like, "No, you're pieces of me. You're pieces of your mom. You have to keep living." And like, as a dad right now, it's like I understand that. Like, of course, I would send my son in a ship and send him off.
See,
like,
and that's where the writing has its moments where it was pretty good. So I gotta get
See, I didn't know that was in the comics though. That Superman was sent to be a conqueror of Earth.
It's only one comic, I should say.
Yeah, it's
still
okay, but still, now all I can think about is Akira Toriyama really did just write Japanese Superman with Goku. But anyway,
when did Dragon Ball come out? Because the Man of Steel
1985.
Well, I think those comics were released in the same year then, which is funny.
Interesting.
Maybe Man of Steel was a year after. Maybe, actually. I don't know.
I think it was 86 because I think they did a 40th anniversary for it this year. So
I
think it was 86 for Man of Steel.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I enjoyed the flashbacks. I enjoyed seeing Krypton. I agree. I would agree that I think we got just the right amount of it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which one of you said about like you didn't quite like where they put them. I thought that they were. I thought the placement of the flashbacks was very well done because it's her telling the story to Ruthie. It told just because like the first flashback we get is just her remembering.
Yeah,
like how it was right after Krypto gets shot with the arrow and she's thinking back to like when she first found him, and I was like, okay, that's cool. That's a cool little flashback, and then it expands on that later on when, and I really enjoyed the fact that they discovered kryptonite. Like they were like, oh, we thought that we were going to live here for the rest of our lives and it was going to be all hunky-dory. It's like, turns out when the planet exploded, there was this stuff under there
radiation.
that we forgot about. And they were like, oh, well, we goofed. I mean, obviously, it was a little more. There was a little more to it than that, but I enjoyed. It added more weight to me to what kryptonite is. Yeah, and it added more weight to the whole situation.
Yeah.
And then the whole like they didn't want to send Kara out originally. They wanted her to stay there. They wanted and he you'd mentioned it earlier. He says, I don't want to send her out to be a conqueror of worlds, to be. But then it's like when it's finally time to act, like he has to send her away. That's literally like what he tells her to try and convince her to go is like, you will be so powerful. You'll be like a god to these people. When previously we see that he's like, I don't want that for her.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting to see the dichotomy of that
and to see the.
No, the more I think about it, I actually do like the play. I think the placements make sense. There were certain pacing issues I had with the movie that kind of fell off, but
that's the truth.
No, my co-host my co-host agreed with you in that it slows the movie down. I quite liked it because
I still liked them, if that makes sense.
Right, because those were my favorite parts of the movie. I was like, this is like I'm loving this 20 minutes.
Well, and then it was like when she's quote unquote dying in the green sun, you know, and she has that, you know, there's that moment where she tells Ruthie, she's like, it's just a stupid suit. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she flashes back to when she had to leave Krypton or Argos, had to leave her family behind.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a very intense, sad moment where, because, you know, okay, me personally, I just got done doing a lot of traveling and flying, you know, and you know, when you take off in a plane, it's very like relatively slow. Like you kind of see things. When she takes off from Argos, you're gone. And it's just like her entire life, her entire world, her entire family, everything she's ever known since the day she was born, gone.
Yeah.
Like that.
And that's why it makes me laugh when people say she's just a female version of Superman. Because I'm like, Superman has no memory of Krypton. He only has the archives. Yeah. She remembers everything, basically. Yeah. And so
she remembers enough for it to haunt her.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that I think adds a lot more weight to her character. And I really enjoy, like, I thought that it added more credence to who we see her as a character at the beginning of this, where, you know, we see in that flashback scene where she's in that apartment in Metropolis and she's like, how can this be home?
Yeah.
You know, she's like, she can hear all of the sirens and everybody talking. It's just like super noisy. And I can imagine how overwhelming that must have felt and very, you know, and she goes, how can this be home? And then then they cut the tension with Krypto in the background flying around and like tearing the furniture up. It's like,
Krypto's great. Like
Krypto is now I will say my own, like, I feel like they over CGI'd Krypto, but that is my only thing like that I didn't care for about Krypto between the two movies. Like,
I will say what hits with me is I have a dog that he's not white, but he's the same breed as Krypto. And so like at the end, like I was
he's a super dog?
Yes. Oh yeah. You don't see him flying around in the background. So that definitely it hits, and I just
that's chocolate. That's chocolate. No.
Yeah.
yeah.
See, I found that funny because it's like if he's a super dog, would that not matter for him?
I don't think it does. Yeah.
No, but with art, it depends on the sun. You know, if it's a red sun, it probably matters.
I think one thing that's interesting about Kara too is like we talk about how she knows Krypton and stuff better, but how tough it has to be for her when she arrives and he says your powers are going to kick in, and all of a sudden she has to learn. Yeah. Almost like a second puberty, right? Like you have to now learn all these other things that you can experience while also having a dog.
Clark is like,
doing the same thing.
Clark is like, when I was a toddler, I lifted cars up.
Right. So he had to, you know, he at least, like, especially if you include like the Smallville stuff, right? Like he learned his powers slowly and throughout his whole life he's had them, while she's coming in at the age of like 20. Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
And having all these powers. Like kicking in at once after she lands.
Speaking of her powers, I found it so funny when they were like, oh, we'll take you to Krem, but you have to wear this hood. And I'm like, she has X-ray vision.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess they don't know everything about Krypton.
And she did use it too, which I think
she used it to look at the watch.
Well, you know, I think the X-ray only sees certain things, and that's actually first time I watched a movie, it really bugged me. It's just like, oh, conveniently she's at a place with the green sun. Which, you know, but I think that's also like, I think that's my biggest problem with the movie actually is some of the editing of it. Yeah. The movie relies on, it's okay if you do it a couple times. This movie did it certainly a couple times too many, beyond just doing it a couple times where something appears and just like, oh yeah, I was following along with you the entire time. It's just like, I felt like that there was a missing important scene
of showing purple aliens.
Of showing Ruthie going, like at least seeing Kara's ship, so we know that she could go get the suit, than just being there conveniently with the green sun. Which is something that
I
Either
could
way to
agree
me.
with that point of view. It's not something I really thought about in the moment, but I could see where that's
Yeah.
kind of like.
So don't they show her like jumping out of the?
They
thing?
do. They do. They show her jumping out of the ship, but it's not like that's Kara's ship. You know, they don't take her
Right.
to
Mm.
Krem on Kara's
Yeah.
ship. They're like, we can take you to him, but they took her on his ship, not Kara's ship. So
Yeah.
I do get what you're saying, Spencer, where you have that suspension of disbelief where it's like, when did she have time to go to Kara's ship, find the suit?
It's not that I don't think she had time. It's that the movie didn't show something critical, right? And the movie did that multiple times. Now that's the biggest case and the biggest usage of it where I think it's a problem. But there's several times throughout the movie where that happened. Like the other big one, I think that they should have at least showed a shot of them like watching was Krim and the Brigands when they first go even steal the ship, because they just appear out of nowhere. And that's the other big moment where it's just like they just appear.
Yeah.
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 Like I said,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
So
yeah, I definitely agree. There were definitely some nitpicks I had with some plot conveniences of like, oh, they're just randomly there. Like, oh, there's Lobo. Like, I loved Jason Momoa's Lobo, but kind of was like there were certain scenes where he was kind of just there. Which again, that's just a nitpick. I wasn't sitting there. I wasn't sitting there going, "This ruins."
I was able to believe enough that he fit there because of he's a bounty hunter. He's there for a bounty. He's like convenient at the same time. Sure, but there's enough logic there where I'm okay.
And that's what I mean. Like, I don't have to suspend my disbelief to explain
exactly.
it. And like I said, Jason Momoa, like he was fun. Like
he was great. I will say, there's one thing I wanted to mention about Lobo when we were first talking about him, and that was, I saw some people were like, he's a little bit dumbed down, but I'm like, I didn't mind it because
I don't know enough about the character to be able to.
So somebody made a solid point. Is that Lobo in the comics is annoying as fuck. All right.
He's also he's also, if I remember correctly, he's also way more vulgar, like in the comics.
I think it depends on who's writing. Because I would say the way he spoke,
Michael gets his After Dark comics, you know.
No. I just mean like he's I've seen renditions of him where he like talks a lot more like Deadpool. You know,
right, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
it's like he's not that kind of annoying as you could
Has
say.
He been in any of the like animated projects?
Superman, Man of Tomorrow.
Okay,
he was in the original animated series in '95 as well.
Okay. Because I was like, I
was going to say, from what I recall of that, he's pretty dumb in that. So, like, if they think he's dumbed down in this, I think he's probably about the same in the animated series.
It made me smile though whenever you hear them say, I think it was twice. He says
Loban time.
No, not that. But when he says bastard, I was just like, oh,
bastard.
No, I like that they kind of went with like a little more like badass bounty hunter version, kind of like a little more akin to.
But I also like that.
It reminded me of the if anybody played the first Injustice game, he was the DLC character in that, and it's kind of like that vibe of Lobo and not kind of the loud, rambunctious.
I love how they kind of do like a maybe I'm the one that thought this, a bit of like an Aragorn kind of introduction to him where he's kind of off, like at the dark, you don't like see his face at first.
And then all you see is like the cigar.
Yeah.
I like
that.
That
Was funny. Yeah.
And I love the again, like, aren't you that ditz from the dive bar? Huh, funny. That's what I was saying about you. Fair enough.
I hope we get more Lobo though. That's what I'll just say.
He would be great.
I would watch. Listen, we need a Lobo standalone film.
Give me a Lobo animated series with Jason Momoa voicing.
See,
like
that's
anime,
the big thing
like,
too. Of people said they wanted more Lobo in this, but I also feel like that's one of those other things that I'm like,
I think there would have been too
this
much.
Just worked of being the perfect amount because there's just enough of him to where he is there. He really shined.
But it's a good sign that people want more of him. Because it means it worked. But that you don't want it to be oversaturated on the first introduction.
Yeah.
Especially for someone like me that is not really familiar with the character outside of certain projects.
You need to remember it's a Supergirl story, not a Lobo story, guys.
Exactly. Well, I thought we were watching the movie called Ruthie. Like, the Ruthie Woman of Tomorrow.
The last big thing I wanted to talk about is I've never seen so many people complain about needle drops in a movie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And
Yeah,
we
okay.
can't not talk about the needle drops before we
did
get
have
out of
that
here.
I did have that one moment where like it was the bar fight scene where I'm like, how are they singing cheek to cheek
Earth
right now? Like,
song. Yeah, these
how do they
aliens
know?
are singing
Like,
an
how do
80s
they
song.
know that? And then the explanation, the headcanon that I came up with was I don't remember what it's called, but but do you guys know that like there was a thing they did where they took like a bunch of music and like
with this
like video games and stuff and they shot it into space
Oh,
just
yeah,
in case.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, maybe they found that. And
My thought is
your head cannon.
my thought is, Clark's been saying she goes to Red Sun Planet. So my thought was she's been here at this bar before and playing that song.
Yeah.
And just
could
like
be.
That's a good point. I
continues
can
to
see
come
that.
back here, and they're like
knew
the
the
regulars
place.
are like, oh geez, yeah,
Yeah.
she's back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
She knew the place.
that I don't think that was that on a Red Sun Planet, that bar?
That was the first place, right? When Ruthie introduced
No.
herself,
I'm talking about when they first meet Lobo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or it's like right before they meet Lobo, and she's like, be discreet, and then she like kicks everybody's ass.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, but
Yeah, I don't know that.
they're singing cheek to cheek as she's kicking
Yeah.
everybody's ass. I was like, I love it, but how?
But
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Well,
I understand why. It's the how. The
if we're
how.
gonna talk-
Fair enough. Sure.
Because I gotta tell you, Spencer, my Instagram and YouTube feed has been and Twitter has been about the final song with the final fight, and this is
I love that.
I was gonna say
Oh.
that when you listen to the lyrics of the song, it is very fitting for
It
the
fit.
story. It
I
fits.
don't even
For me,
remember
and
off
it's-
the top of my head what the song was, but
the
I
middle.
It's
a
the
middle.
middle,
World.
yes.
Jimmy
So
World's
here's what I was
cover,
saying.
yeah.
It's nothing against even the lady that sings it. I just don't know if that version of the song fits
Well,
the scene.
see, I think it was purposeful
But-
that it was a lighter tone, like not as upbeat is what I'm trying to say.
Right,
like,
yeah,
the
yeah,
opposite
yeah.
of that,
yeah.
because it's about Kara finally finding like an
True.
inner peace with that
And
action.
I
And
will
they're
say the
doing
scene-
and they're
the
doing
scene is
slow
slowed
mo.
down,
I
too.
feel like
Yeah, I
if
was
you
gonna
had
say,
if you had a fast paced song on a slow mo
Right.
shot,
that would no. I
And I've
think
seen
it
so many
fits.
people say they should have had Call Me, but I'm like, that song defeats the purpose of the vibe
No.
they were going for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Call Me doesn't fit
No.
either. I
No.
don't
No.
And I've
really-
seen
It
that
would
said so
been
many
worse.
times that it annoys me. Of like, you
I
know,
liked
just
the
aren't
song
getting
in
what's
the-
happening.
I liked the Call Me in the trailers because I even
Yeah.
saw people
Yeah.
complaining like, "Why wasn't it in the movie?" And I'm like, when would it have really fit in the movie? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I felt like all the music
If-
fit, and I've just
yeah.
never seen so many people complain about songs just not fitting. But
you
I
know
felt like it had fit the vibe.
I know why so
all
many
the
people are
songs.
complaining because they're looking for something to complain about, and they're like,
I think
"Aha."
this is true. Yes.
Because it's like what it's like it fits the scene. Like I
Yeah.
was not it because there were some people that are like, "Oh, it took me out," and and I'm like,
I've seen
"How? Like how?
Yeah,
Like it?"
I mean, when I saw this movie, obviously I saw it on Friday. So
Same,
I had
yeah.
already heard all of the complaints, even by trying not to. Just people being like, that
inevitable.
needle drop. And you're like, okay. And then
Yeah.
I was at the one where I guess I was at a needle drop at one point, and I was like, is this the one they're talking about? Because I don't
Yeah.
really dig this one. And then we got to the end, and I'm like, this is the one everybody's complaining about. But I liked the song.
Yeah.
I did not care either way if it was I guess my thought on it now after seeing it and hearing the behind the scenes stuff that they did 45 different songs
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
landing on this one
Insane.
makes me think maybe they could have just used a score
Yeah.
instead of trying to fit in a needle drop. But
I think that's fair.
That is
I
fair.
think overall it was fine for me. I didn't really
Yeah.
like have a problem with it the way
No.
everybody else has.
I
and
think it's
kind
a
of
solid cover. It's one of those
Yeah.
covers that, like, I love Jimmy Eat World. Well, specifically their song version of the middle, is great. But like, it's just one of those covers I didn't mind because it, like, it's a
It
cover
did.
that works
yeah.
because it's doing its own thing, but then also not goes against
Yeah.
the song. And so, but yeah, I think they worked overall.
And I like Jordan. I do agree. I do think a slow sweeping score could have worked just as well, if not better. But the people dogging on the needle drop, I'm like, of all the things for that at that point of the movie, for that to be your biggest issue is like, I mean, to each his own opinion, but it's like, that was fine. Like, it worked well enough for me.
I enjoyed it. The first time I was watching it, I was like, oh, because I'm terrible with song names. Is like I watched it, and I was watching it the first time. I was like, I know this song. Why the hell do I know this song? And the reason why I wasn't connecting with me is because it was a cover version of it.
And I think
that's
it
the only
works
reason
too.
it took me out.
I think it works too that it's a female cover, probably, since it's a female-led movie. It helps fit the vibe
Well,
of
that's
the
like what most of
scene.
the
I think
songs were
more
too. Of like they were just.
Yeah.
It was a very, female-led movie, deservedly so, because that's the kind of thing.
Dude, there were people that dislike the needle drop at the end of Superman, and I'm like, I'm crying at that point.
Oh my god!
Like, I'm crying. I'm like, I don't care, dude. Like, it fits. Like, so these type of people will literally complain about anything.
See, I never really saw that about Superman. I saw everybody love.
It was not as much as this one, but I had seen some people.
I have seen some people not like punk rock or
and I'm like, oh, it works so well. Like,
it made me laugh in the theater because of his line from earlier in the movie. I'm like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah,
like
I don't even see what's happening on the screen. Like, I'm just teary eyed. But
well, Andrew, don't you know that people just don't like a strong female character?
Yeah, apparently.
Really? Yeah, I know. It's like the people that it's like people complain about not getting it, and then we get it, and then it becomes an issue. And I'm like, well, guys, please the internet.
Especially when you have people saying, like, I don't know, sometimes it sounds like we're in like 2005 when they're like,
hey,
I know some of the news people were like, it's very girl boss, and I'm like, when have we like that word is out? Like, we are not using that anymore. What are you talking about?
No, that's what we're using. Yeah, we're using. This was a mid girl boss movie.
See, this is another thing which I can kind of understand why it's said as a bad thing, but I also don't like. I just don't like when it's said as a thing when people say, "Oh, this feels like an early 2000s movie," because I've seen that said about this movie. But it's like, well, but if the movie's good, why does it matter if it feels like that? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just
I
one of those
don't really
complaints
get
I've
that
never
because
gotten.
I
didn't
Also,
either, but I've seen that said.
Also, hold on. What's wrong with early 2000s movies? We got Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. We got fucking X-Men.
Not to make you feel old, Michael,
them,
but us talking about the early 2000s now is like talking about the 80s and
You
early
shut
2000s.
the fuck up. No. Listen. I'm already upset about the music, okay? Like, I remember growing up and being like, oh, Metallica and Bon Jovi and all, like, oh, that was 20 years ago. And now it's like, no, 20 years ago was Eminem and freaking
the middle,
the middle.
Literally.
Oh God.
Oh,
Avril Lavigne, like.
I was gonna ask a question because I don't know if you have this on your list, but what do we think of no post-credit, mid-credit scenes?
Oh, I didn't. That's a good point.
So
That's a good point.
Skeptical about. So when we went to watch it, as the credits were rolling, the guy that I went to go watch it with, he Googled it to see if
I
there
did
was
too.
to see if there was a mid or end credit scene. He goes, "There is none," and I went,
But it's
"Are you
Google.
sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think Google's
Because
lying."
Superman had two.
Yeah, you're like, is it the Google AI or is it
Exactly?
Google?
Yeah, mine was Google AI, and I almost texted Spencer, but I was like, I don't know. You just never know. And it's
If I
kind
would
of
have been, if I would have gone to see it myself, I would have stayed for the entire I would have watched the entire credit scroll.
But he was my ride, and he had to go. So
Yeah.
No, it worked out for me because I was doing a double feator that day, and Toy Story 5 was starting in like 2 minutes. So I was like, "There's no credit scenes. Let's go to the next theater here and get seated."
It read a lot to me, especially with rewatching it. It felt like that last scene was meant to be a mid-credit.
That's how I felt.
It's like an epilogue. Yeah,
it's an epilogue, and they were just like, instead of making you sit and wait through credits to get to it,
here was an important scene, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like I understood it, but it very much felt like that because when you see the ship flying off, initially.
That's
It felt very, that's where the credit. Oh no, there's another scene, and Superman's there.
Yeah.
Cool, you know.
Yeah.
No. My biggest issue with the movie, Spencer and Jordan, Michael, this will make no sense to you. Where was the man horse?
Comet? Yeah,
Where was Comet? Yeah,
Lobo fulfilled that actually.
Yeah, true.
Kind of by helping at the last.
So
Yeah.
movie ruined. There was no Comet, so
No Pegasus.
no Pegasus. Yeah.
So, like, I guess my thought with I saw some people being upset that there's no post-credit scene because we're conditioned to have these now.
Well,
even if it's not a Marvel movie,
I would say it's
go.
so funny because that's such a Marvel thing, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, there's no post-credit scene in my DC movie. It's like, well, that's not a DC thing. Why are you like
right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, I'd rather them not have them. I mean, like, I think Superman's are great because it's on the moon with Krypto, and then it's a scene that was in the movie moved to the end with Terrific and Superman.
That was such a terrific scene.
Yeah, pun intended.
Well, and the thing too is when Marvel started with the post-credit scenes, it would set up the next project. It was
like the very next movie or close to it.
Yeah,
there was a shift where it was meant to be just like a fun little extra scene, which isn't a problem. But like you said, they're not always essential viewing. I mean, I will stay. I think we all would. We will stay for them. But that was the original purpose.
Yeah,
was to
and then now the Marvel ones set up projects that we never get.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing right now.
The voice of Blade. Oh yeah, you're not getting Blade ever now.
Never, and you know what's funny? Blade was announced like in 1896. Was
not only are we not getting Blade as a movie, sounds like we're also not getting his game either. Only Blade thing you're getting is him as a
where is
fighter.
Harry Styles from? Where's Hercules?
I saw a memory that I had from like where it was showing all of these like games that were coming out. There was Wolverine, new Spider-Man game,
Rise of Hydra game, whatever.
Yeah, Rise of Hydra, Black Panther, Blade, like all these great like I got super excited for. It's like half of them aren't getting done anymore.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Game industry is going.
It's like every few months they'll say that like Hydra game. We're working on it. It'll come out.
Captain America
eventually.
I think it was called like Captain America 1944 or something like that.
Or
1943.
We might actually get GTA 6 before we get that game. So.
It is happening officially now.
But then there was that's a whole.
I was about to say, gaming, that's a whole other thing that don't even get me started, especially when we talk about all the things going on with Xbox, or they're about to have a slaughterhouse over there. Yes, I agree with Monumental Comics. It didn't feel like it needed it, though. And yes, I agree. And Bear was also welcome by Bear saying no end/mid credit scene. Riot, unsubscribe, cancel.
Literally.
Because my thought too behind it is, look, if I guess I'm in this mode right now where it's like, look, we don't know what's actually going to happen with this, right? Like Paramount is trying to buy them. Yeah. We have, James Gunn's contract ends next year. Then you have the buyout, which is like, will they extend them? Probably. Yeah. But then you're like, okay, what happens if Man of Tomorrow doesn't do well financially? Do they just reset again? Or do we get more movie? It's like, why spend times building up something that may not happen? Just give me good movies or give me films that are complete that I can sit there and enjoy.
I agree. That's definitely been a concern, is not to get too deep into it, but Gunn and Ellison don't like each other. And so it is a bit of a concern.
They were okay. That he was like, okay, I'm good with.
Maybe they've come around. I don't know, but the initial reports were that, and
there's one that just happened that seemed promising, but then
that's good.
Jordan's also right though. It does kind of ride on the buyout and Man of Tomorrow at this point. And I will also say, Jordan, I saw your tweet a couple days ago too, and it's actually stuck with me. Of being like, I'm okay if just we get Man of Tomorrow and that's it, because then it just means 3 movies that I'll enjoy and I can be happy.
Yeah, how awesome is it that we're having 3 super
projects? I mean,
that's never happened.
Like I said at the top, 3 years in a row we get David Cornsweet.
Like, we can't complain.
That's what helped the MCU. I'm not saying it's going to help the DCU, but the MCU helped by like having those core Avengers appear in projects consistently in phase 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
That the reason why people are not latching on to the phase 4, 5, and 6 characters are because it's taking 5 years or more sometimes to get a sequel.
Look at Shang-Chi.
Or even to show up in something else.
Yeah.
Like Shang-Chi has not appeared in like anything, right?
Yeah,
no,
right.
not live action wise. No, yeah.
So some of these characters are not so like having David Cornsweet 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Even if this movie's not seen by a lot of people, when Man of Tomorrow comes out or is building up to it, people that liked Superman and say, you know what, I skipped Supergirl, I didn't want to go see it in theaters. I'm gonna watch it on HBO Max or Paramount Plus, with however that's gonna go, and then I'm going to Paramax, and then I'm going to go see this, or they wait and see Man of Tomorrow, and then they say, you know, Millie Alcock was really great in that. She has a Supergirl movie. I'm gonna watch that. You know,
I can see that.
Maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't, but you know, at least then they'll catch up.
I have a feeling. I mean, I may be totally off base here. I have absolutely zero evidence for like this at all. But like, I could see it being a thing where like, if Man of Tomorrow does not do well, I could see them starting to do like early 2000s or like 90s Marvel, where they just start selling off characters. They're just like, we can't do this anymore. We've rebooted so many times. And, you know, okay, so this company gets Superman, this company gets, you know, whatever.
It just depends. I mean, this situation back then was very different because Marvel needed money, because that was in their phase of where they almost went bankrupt. That was kind of
Sony could have had all the characters, which is kind of good that they only just got
don't speak that into existence.
The frustrating thing I'll also say is that there's just a lot of people out there that are like, they have to fast track Batman, and I'm like,
why?
They don't. And like, you know, people saying like, well, David Ellison's going to fast track Batman. He doesn't have to. A Batman movie comes out next year. For the executives, they don't care if it's DCU or Elseworlds. They're saying, we're making bank on Batman next year.
Yeah.
That box is checked. Like, take your time getting the DCU one up or whatever. They don't care.
I don't want them to rush the Batman too, because I don't want it to be like, oh, that was overwhelming or that was disappointing, because they're just trying to push it out. I like the idea of them taking their time.
Do they have a DCU Batman?
They haven't announced anything. If they've done auditions or something.
There's a rumor Gunn might direct it. I don't know if there's any
So my
credence to
question,
that.
my question for you guys would be, who would you cast as a DCU Bruce Wayne?
There's a name floating around. I don't know if it's him or not. John Roca's claiming he knows, but it's also John Roca we're talking about.
Yeah, so, I was gonna say,
I'm awful at fan casts. I don't like
too,
picking them. I kind of wait until it gets down to like when it got down to between David Cornsweet and a few others. I looked at him and said, "That's who I want," and then they did it.
Yeah, I remember seeing Twister and was like, "That's Superman."
I will say, just basing from a picture of what I saw of the rumored name, which is Tom something. I don't know.
Tom Brittany, right?
Tom Brittany, yeah. Was I looked at him and I'm like, that's Bruce Wayne. You know? Just like how I looked at a picture of Cornsweet and I went, that's Superman.
I think Batman's the hardest one to like fan cast, because a lot of times people just kind of go off of vibes or like what the Bruce Wayne looks like, but it's not about the Bruce Wayne, it's about Batman.
Exactly.
You know?
I could see it. No, I could see it.
Hey, we didn't think Pattinson would work, and then he's there.
I did though. Like when they said Pattinson, I said, "Hell yeah!" Like
he's finally becoming here's
my thing. I think that Pattinson did an excellent job portraying Batman. I don't think that his Batman would work well in the DCU.
No,
yeah, I agree with
that.
that.
I like the idea of it being separate.
Me too.
Yeah.
No, I love the idea of what they're doing with Brave and the Bold, of being folks trying to lean more into the Bat family, which we've never gotten in a movie. And it's so exciting because just the movies are always caught up, and this is the first couple of years of Batman, and never here's the Bat family.
It's exciting, but I'm at the point of where is it happening? I don't know.
That's fair.
I would like my ideal storyline that I would love to see live action in, like as far as Batman goes, would be build up. You know, start off with Bruce Wayne, have him get, like start him off with Jason Todd and then move into like the Killing Joke or
well, they're wanting to begin with Batman and Son, which is the introduction of Damian Wayne. But I like that because that means theoretically, well, you should already have a Nightwing, you should already have a Red Hood, you should already have a Batwoman. Well, and I like the idea of all those already being established, and the new one is Damian Wayne.
Yeah,
I did want to say real quick on because Michael brought up the fan casting. It's what's tough about that is when you're casting, I feel like for someone to play a superhero, you almost have to pick: do we want to lean more into their superhero side or their alter ego or who they are as a person? Occasionally, you can find someone like a Tom Holland that is good at both.
Yeah.
But usually, like Christian Bale is a great Bruce Wayne, and I still think he's a good Batman. But I think of him more as like
I would
Bruce
say
Wayne.
Christian. I like Christian Bale's Batman, but I do feel like Christian Bale's Batman.
I don't want to say ruined Batman as a character, but it definitely changed the way that, because look at all the iterations of Batman throughout the years, right? Like obviously you've got Adam West,
Great Scott, and then you've got
Doc Brown.
Yeah,
or, I don't know.
I was like,
just saying wacky things, and like having that. Like,
well, their budget was like a pizza party and $5.
Like, but then you get into like the 80s and the 90s, and it's a lot more
George Clooney.
It's a lot quieter. It's a lot more pensive. It's very, or even in the 90s with the animated series with
Kevin Conroy,
where he had his moments where he was intense, but he was also he had his moments where he was soft spoken. He was, he could be gentle. And then you get into the Dark Knight, and it's just like, where is she? It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, but his voice became a little bit of a joke,
right? That's what I mean. But even he overdid it.
Did he look like Ben Affleck? I think he's a great Batman. I do like him as Bruce, but I think he's good as personally. I'm not saying he's the best.
I had mixed emotions about Ben Affleck's Batman. I thought he did okay, but I think they built off of the Arkham games a little bit too much.
Well,
I think he did good.
The Dark Knight Returns. The problem is with his Batman is he wasn't given a Batman story. He had one epic action scene, which was in Gotham, and everybody was like, "Oh, best Batman ever, best scene ever," and and he also kicked ass again. One of the few bright spots in Flash, in my opinion. I was not a fan of that movie, but the opening of that movie with him was cool.
I think he does good in BVS as a Batman, but then my biggest thing with Ben Affleck,
they switch a little bit.
The consistency isn't there because he's been directed by so many people, and WB was trying to course correct so many times that the tone of him changes throughout each movie. The BVS Batman doesn't fit with like the Justice League Batman, which doesn't really fit with like the Flash Batman, right? Like all of these Ben Affleck versions of Batman are so different because they're like, oh, we went too far in BVS, we gotta correct over here, and then at times he's really goofy, and at times he's
and then he's very philosophical.
Okay, honestly, I would have loved to have gotten a Ben Affleck Batman movie where because listen, the end credit scene of the Snyder Cut with Joker, and he's like, sending a
reach arounds and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean, where he's hinting at Jason Todd and like killing Jason Todd and all that. Yeah. Like, I would have loved to have seen that movie.
I wanted to see this Batman and Deathstroke movie that was supposedly going to happen. Like, that's what I wanted. But anyway. But hey, this rumored Bane and Deathstroke movie, I'm all here for it. I know people are like, why? But I'm like, it's Deathstroke.
I just want to see live action Deathstroke.
They can't overreact to this, right? Like, if they believe that the Bane and Deathstroke movie is good and that's what they think is ready to go, then that's what they should do.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm sure they're still working on Batman and Wonder Woman. I'm sure that's still happening. It's just you know, they have to get movies out too.
And that's the
I
problem
think that's
too.
part of
Like,
the problem with this too. Is I do think that there was a part of, and I think it's what leads to a lot of the problems with this movie, with this editing decisions, is there's a deadline they had to meet.
yeah. And Jordan made a good point too. The executives could look at this and let's say Supergirl loses money, and they're like, okay, you need to course correct to this for, you know, delay this a bit and let's go to this. And it's like that also becomes a problem, because it's like, what if it defers from Gunn's plan, it can affect. But anyway,
well, my worry with this, right, is we had Safran come out with the quote of like, hey, we're gonna keep doing what we're doing, we still believe in it. But like a WB executive said, you know, like, hey, we didn't think that the vitriol would be this way for this movie. We thought you guys were over this. But now everybody's clamoring for Wonder Woman. I'm like, do they look at that and think, why should we, when you just didn't show up for Supergirl? And not only not show up, the getting Dean Cain to comment on Millie Alcock's looks and getting all of this stuff to happen is very like, what was this about? Like, she was popular in House of the Dragon. Why? And
she's good in it.
And
too.
she's good. It's like, why are we doing this? And then I just know as soon as there is a Wonder Woman cast or a movie announced, a certain set of people are going to start saying a picture of Gal Gadot and a picture of this person and say, upgrade, downgrade, upgrade, downgrade, upgrade, downgrade. And it's just going to be that until the movie comes out.
It's the whole problem of just where everybody's viewing DC as a brand right now, which is unjust.
I know.
Which is what really annoys me about it too, because it's like, guys, you're not looking to Marvel this way.
I was gonna say, with how much I love DC and how much my love for DC has grown in the last couple of years, it is unfortunate to see this, because you can never please anyone. Even if something is really good, there's going to be people that are like, they will nitpick everything just to get their opinion out there, and it's like it loses its validity at that point. And it's unfortunate.
It's one of those things of, if you're going to dislike it and you want to hate it, you'll find no reason to like it, you know?
Yeah. Like, for instance, like with Jordan and I, like, we obviously are a little bit maybe less high on it than Spencer and Michael, but we're not dogging on you, making you feel bad for your opinion. Like, we had how could you like this movie, Spencer? Like, I'm done. Like, no more Smallville. Like, you know, no, I would never do that. But it's like, you can have respectful conversation and good conversation.
Well, I think it's also very fair.
You're wrong, and you should feel bad.
Yeah, I think it's very fair. We touched on a lot of great things about this, and talked a lot about, you know, what worked and didn't work, I think, very fairly, in ways that I think most places haven't. And like I said, I know I mentioned it near the beginning. It's just very unfortunate the way of how the movie is being treated, and also I think it's to a degree also just DC as a whole too. You know.
So
I would say as a movie going experience, I would rate this a solid 8.
See, that brings up another point that I had in mind. People, there's this whole thing about cinema score, and it's a B-, right? Yeah. I think a B- is a solid, if I had to grade this movie, a solid score for the movie that I could agree with, okay?
Yeah.
But
I could give it like a C+, like a C+. I'm kind of in between a B- and a C+, probably.
I would personally say a solid
point.
Huh?
You're just splitting hairs, Andrew.
I know. It's tough, because it's like I said, I really like things, and I don't like things as well. So it's like, I'm kind of,
Sure. Well, and like, I'm looking at it from a perspective of not knowing the source material.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it pure, like I'm speaking purely as a movie going experience. I enjoyed this as a film. It was entertaining to me.
Yeah.
It had some good laughs. It had some moments where I went, "What the fuck?" You know, I enjoyed it.
Give me some of that milk.
What kind of milk was that? You know.
Is this almond milk?
Yeah.
It was the equivalent of like cat milk or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. But the point I want to say about the cinema score thing, at least, because it really annoys me too, is I think that I don't disagree with the B- rating, but if you're telling me a movie is like Flash and Aquaman 2 and certain things are also B's, it's like maybe there's a problem with the system that you're comparing.
I don't think the cinema score goes. Does it do like A through F?
I think like Joker 2 has like a really bad or something.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of movies below Supergirl though.
I think you can get an F.
It's
really?
Just that,
okay.
Because I wasn't sure. I usually only seen the A's
I know
and the
Batman and
B's.
Robin is below it. I think that's at a C or D.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see.
There's
here.
one other DC movie below, but
So then,
Supergirl
I'm
is third
surprised.
lowest.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say a B- is not a bad. Like if
Yeah,
I got that as
that's
a
what I
grade in
was saying.
school, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, like what I liked at this is I was like, I think that's a solid score to give this movie, but then it's like, okay, you're talking about Shazam being an A, and then don't get me wrong, I enjoy Shazam as well. But it's just then but then you compare it to like James Gunn's Superman and the Batman is an A-. It's like those movies aren't below Shazam. Or
Yeah, what the heck?
yeah, it's just like I think it's a
what I'll
broken
say,
system.
I think with Cinema Score, there's been, I would say, a bit of a shift with it. So what I mean by that is like you used to be able to just Cinema Score is not really important except for telling you how well the diehard fans enjoy the movie because they poll people like opening day, like Friday or Saturday. So like you're getting the people that rush out to see the movie, and like Superman got what, an A-, you said, right?
Yeah.
But the legs on that movie performed more like an A over here in the States than an A-. But then there are some movies that get like a A-, like Mandalorian and Grogu, that have no legs at all and perform like a B-, like this, you know? So I think there's something kind of more broken with how people used to use that.
It's like Rotten Tomatoes nowadays.
Yeah, they used to use the Cinema Score to really tell you, like, will this movie have legs? And I think it'll be accurate for this one. I don't think this one will have legs, unfortunately. But for a lot of other ones, it's been kind of wrong on how it goes, right?
Well, and Supergirl's already made $100 million in like brand deals. So it doesn't. I think
that just kind of cut off the marketing cost, though.
Yeah. I don't think they actually get the money. I think it's like
it's like a break even with the marketing.
From what I read is like that's how much like the brands think it's worth.
Oh, I see.
Partner with it type thing. So
I see. Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
So it's like the brands think
bucket?
they're gonna get like $100 million worth of money for it, like combined.
Yeah,
like all.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing Brick and I read is it was they didn't have to worry about the marketing costs when you're talking about if the movie succeeds or not. It kind of just has to worry about its production budget. Was the breakdown that I kind of heard about that. How accurate that overall is, I'm not 100% sure, but that was just
no, but it makes sense because
breakdown
I
read
much.
That. Yeah,
the last thing I read is that this is destined to lose them $85 to $125 million.
Yeah,
for the studio.
That all.
Yeah, that's it. You know, for them, that's a drop in a bucket. Really.
Well, I was gonna say that literally is like.
But if you take so many of them too,
20.
It depends. Like they need the Minecrafts to keep it up there.
Yeah, literally.
Because they also had like The Bride, which is freaking horrible, and also
I haven't seen that.
Don't watch that movie. I'll just say I hated that movie. But anyway, all right. I think that pretty much does it, though. We've been here for a while. We talked a lot about Supergirl, some about some other things, but it's been a great time, though.
We kept it DC, though.
We did keep it. Yes, we didn't go ever not really completely off track, other than a little bit of Blade.
So what's up with Star Wars? No, I'm kidding. Some Star Wars vibes in this movie, I will say, but then I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go around the circle here. Andrew, what you have going on? Where can the people find you at?
Yeah, so you can find me mainly over at Feast of Fandoms. Monday nights we have MCU Monday. We're going through Spider Noir right now. We're doing an episode at a time, even though they released it all at once. And yes, we won't be done before tomorrow when X-Men drops.
That just reminded me I need to rewatch the finale that I haven't done yet.
I know.
I told myself I was going to rewatch the finale, and I haven't.
Dang it, Spencer! Come on, but
maybe I'll do it right after this.
And then Thursday night, we got the Cantina Happy Hour where we just finished season 4 of the Clone Wars.
Nice.
So we're going to be starting season 5 soon. And then on Sunday nights on the Cam and Focus YouTube channel, we're going to be talking about the movie Annihilation this coming Sunday. So looking forward to that. I haven't seen it yet.
Thanks for letting me know because I was not sure what movie we were doing.
Shark Side of the Moon 2.
No.
I wish I made it there for that, but
I'm glad I didn't.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Yo, I
Um,
wanted to because you were like, "That's the worst movie ever." I'm like,
It was
No,
close. It's
no,
close.
it's still not Quest for the Mighty Sword.
It's not. I have put it above Quest for the Mighty Sword, but it's close.
But what
It's
about
like
the Mummy
that.
movie?
Still not Quest for the Mighty Sword.
Yeah, no, it's like tied with that Mummy movie.
See, because
for
I thought
me.
it was better from what I saw of it. Unless the movie gets
you
worse.
didn't see enough. You gotta wait to see how it loses momentum.
Oh God, yeah.
Anyway, but Annihilation is Cam really likes that movie, and I'm excited to watch it. And so, outside of the Dingus Den stuff, that's what else I got going on.
I don't know if I'll be able to make it this week. Actually, now that I think about it,
we might have a thing.
Oh, really?
We might have a cyberpunk thing.
Yeah. Well, I also don't know if one player can make it, so it kind of depends on that, which we'll have to see.
Okay.
But we'll see.
I see how it is, guys. I didn't like Supergirl as much, you guys.
Listen, I need to play as a psycho. All right, because it's for cyberpunk.
Listen, if Spencer doesn't get his psychosis out through D&D every once in a while, it will bleed over into his everyday life. Okay.
That's funny.
I literally play as like the main inspiration was that he's like one of those Borderlands bandits that's just said, yeah. Anyway,
I don't know what that means, but all right.
Anyway,
psycho, groovy, cocaine, crazy.
Just I play an insane person in that, which is very fun. And then other nights I play as a stupid little goblin. But you know, that's all that matters.
Jordan, it's just you playing yourself, Spencer.
Jordan, what do you have going on?
I'm over at Soups and Sabers on all of our social media. We just did our Supergirl coverage. We're going to start looking ahead towards Spider-Man Brand New Day. And then of course Lanterns in the month of August. So
almost here.
If everything goes well, we'll have some build up to those projects, but we didn't get around to it for Supergirl because we were just so slammed and busy with life stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But that's my main stuff where we're at.
Awesome. Michael, is there anything that you want to shout out?
So I am over on YouTube as Return of the Mic Gaming. Mic as in short for microphone, because I'm super clever and
no way.
Well, I'm also named Michael, and like people call me Mike for short. So I just wanted to make sure that people knew where to find me.
Return of the Michael Gaming. Okay.
No. But
there's a movie recently about you. I haven't watched it yet, but I hear a lot of people like it.
Oh God. But I've been doing some retro gaming over on that channel. So I've got four parts of 4 videos in a series of me playing the PlayStation 2 Spider-Man game.
Nice.
And I've got 2 more videos scheduled to come out in the next. Well, the next one comes out this Friday. This Friday and then the following Friday. So, well, because I pre-recorded like the entire game basically, and edited all the videos and then just scheduled them to come out because I was leaving for 3 weeks and I wanted to make sure that the videos were still coming out consistently. So then, and I'm getting ready to start working on Spider-Man 2. So I got a PlayStation 2 emulator on my computer now, so I'm just like reliving my childhood and making videos about it. So
there you go.
It's a good time. It's a fun time. I forgot all about the thug bowling that you do in Spider-Man as like a mini game.
I need to play that. Haven't played it.
It's so great. It's so dumb. You just have like a bunch of thugs webbed up together in like in like a temple, and you swing, you web swing.
Oh yeah,
dude, it's so fun. It's so stupid, but it's so fun. And I love the fact that they have Bruce Campbell as the narrator.
Yes,
I heard that he was in that.
Yeah, you can also do some. I forget if it's Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 1, but you can also do cheats to play as Mary Jane and Green Goblin. So I guess Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, I would say I've never done those cheats, but I do like. I said when I in the
in my gameplay and like the very first video I did for the Spider-Man series, I forgot that it was Bruce Campbell, and all I could think about was, is this Deadpool?
Like, because the way he talks to you is like, all right, you fucking idiot. Like, I mean, he doesn't say it like that. Obviously, it's a kid's game still, but it's just like it's just like his tone of voice. And now all I can think about is if Marvel ever does do like a comic book accurate Wade Wilson, where he has voices in his head arguing with him all the time, Bruce Campbell has to be one of them. But
anyway, so yeah, that's what I've got going on. And then of course, D&D stuff coming up over at Tabletop Lounge.
Maybe that'll make a return sooner than later.
Yeah.
I may or may not have to work on some more stuff, but
I don't know if I'm ready for TOC again, Spencer. I just got back from my,
No, don't worry. It's not happening anytime soon.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you that.
Well, you were like sooner rather than later. I'm like, oh, please. No,
I meant for like our in-between episode we could do.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, because like me and Blue have been spitballing some ideas for other games, and they're really fun ideas, but it's just like, oh, I've got so much in my head right now.
You need a bit to chill. You just got back after how long were you gone? 3 weeks?
I was gone for a total of 20 days. I traveled from the Bahamas to Ohio to the Philippines and back. And I literally spent 30 hours traveling. But if you look at the times, I mean, that was just getting back from the Philippines to Ohio. And if you look at the times, it was only like 15 hours because we left
time zones.
We left at 8 p.m. Tuesday night and arrived in Ohio like 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon, but we had a 15-hour flight from Hong Kong to Toronto, so it's like, yeah. Let's do the time warp again.
So yeah, I don't talk about too much, but yes, there's the tabletop lounge
there.
I do. There's the tabletop lounge where there's some tabletop gaming happening. My game isn't active over there because it's kind of like wrapped up, and I'm kind of slowly working on what's next.
Have we been streaming Cyberpunk?
No, Austin's been recording it and
Okay,
doing slight edits and putting it out.
Okay,
but yeah. That's really kind of the only active thing right now.
When's the next long Halloween? Is that this?
Oh, that is actually part of my things. Yeah, let's talk about that. What's going on with the Dingus Den? Great question, everybody asking. I have a Dingus questionnaire that I need to release in the next day or two with Rich Doick, who is the writer of the new Masters of the Universe Genesis first 3 issues of that, which focuses on Skeletor. So last week, I released our main interview where we talked a lot about Master of the Universe, which was awesome. But check out the Dingus questionnaire with him in the next day or two. I also have, as Michael, you mentioned, there is the next long Halloween because
is it going to be 4th of July? Is that the next one?
Independence Day. So
y'all have already recorded that?
We've recorded it. I have not edited any of it yet, but that is on my list of things I need to do sooner than later. So stay tuned for that, where that'll be completed and out there. And then I also have a comic review I'm going to be doing with Lunchbox Comics, who's in the chat. What's up, Warren? Where we're going to be talking about a comic. I kid you not, it's called Grizzly Shark. Or Grizzly Shark. Yeah, I think Grizzly Shark is this.
What a name.
What a name. That'll be a comic that we're going to be talking about.
It'll definitely be one of the comics of all time.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading it because it's from Ryan Otley, where if anybody knows that name, he's a really good artist, and this is kind of like one of his creator projects that you're just passionate about, and so it'll be fun. And like over the weekend, I dropped our Supergirl being super comic review because I wanted to do something to celebrate the Supergirl release. Probably should have picked a different.
Because our Woman of Tomorrow wasn't good enough.
I was wanting to read another Supergirl comic, and then
I get it.
I'll say go read Woman of Tomorrow instead of being Super. I wasn't. Go check out what we thought.
I gotta check out that review.
But I know Jordan, you referenced a lot of us doing Smallville here. Me, Andrew, and Ian do usually before the Cape is on Saturday nights. We had to skip last week because Andrew was having to do something, and then obviously, well,
how dare you?
I know
It was my mom's birthday.
How dare you?
but then also, obviously, this Saturday is 4th of July, where most Americans will probably be out watching fireworks. I know I won't be home for it, and so, holiday. That will be conflicting there, but we should be back on was it the 11th? And so, but
how far are you in now?
do you remember the title of the next 2 episodes that we're talking about, Andrew?
No, but it's season 3. It's like episodes 7 and 8, I think.
That sounds right.
Or 8 and 9.
Okay, because I want to be on season 4 episode. I'll have to give you the number.
All right, message me and
Well, at least we got some time.
Yeah, we got some time. No, this is one that Ian was like, everybody needs to be here for it. It's Shattered and
Asylum, right?
Asylum, yes. Shattered. Asylum
Okay. I know why. Okay.
Yeah, he was like, we need everybody there for that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yes, always a fun time Saturday nights when we talk about Smallville. Good stuff. So, but
I keep saying I'm gonna like binge watch Smallville and like crash before the Cape one of these days, and I don't. I never do.
Oh boy,
we got some time to catch up. So
let's say we're in season 3.
You're in season 3. How many episodes is it per season?
Like
20.
Yeah,
20, 20.
No, I'm not. No,
and these are 40-minute episodes too.
Yeah,
so.
no. Listen, it's like listen. That just reminds me of my brother telling me, "You really got to get into One Piece, man." And I'm like,
oh no.
Plus, Michael, each of our episodes average about 2 hours, so you'd have to watch 2 hours worth of the episodes.
We do generally talk more about
what I need to do is I just need to binge watch before the Cape.
Basically,
I don't need to watch. Number one,
we break down the episodes so well, you don't even need to watch them,
and lots of shenanigans along the way.
Yeah,
no,
a lot of hair talk.
Surely not, Spencer. Shenaniganery with you. You're usually so on topic, and I'm too tired to continue this.
Anyway.
I know. I'm tired.
Go to sleep, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining. This has been. This went over like a whole hour more than I thought it would be. So thank you all.
I was like, it's tomorrow for you now, Spencer.
Yeah.
1 minute till then.
1 minute till tomorrow.
But I'm gonna end it right now, everybody. Ladies, everybody.
Spencer,
Bye.
the man of tomorrow.